You know, it's funny. When you look at someone through rose-tinted glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. Ladies, gentlemen, and variations thereupon, this is Modern Escapism. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Oodles, and in my mother's eyes, I'm her firstborn son that did her proud. To everyone else, I'm a fucking scumbag. And today, I'm joined by... People see him as a kind, gentle soul that would do anything for anyone. The truth is, he's a tyrannical diva with too many guitars. It's Gadget.
You what, mate? You fucking what, mate? I read.
To his peers, he seems like an honest family man with good intentions. The truth is, he's passive-aggressive perfectionist and he watches too many films. It's Stig.
Hey up, it's Stiggy!
Can't deal with that.
Bouncing up your head.
That's racist. Unfortunately, Stig's not with us today, but we can carry on without him, don't worry, guys. So, to her colleagues and family, she's a beautiful cherub-like friend to all. At home, she's a ruthless cannibal with a taste for tears. It's Candy.
Oh no, I'm like that to my friends as well. But hello, sorry.
And finally,
fucking lost.
And finally, happy, smiley, sexy, warm, inviting, and family first. Are words his fan base would use to describe him. What people don't realise is, he's a cockney grifter and wants you all to join the Biggie bundle for his foul, wicked deeds. He's a crook, a wretch, and a villain. It's Biggie.
I fucking have it, son. Hello.
Hello. I hope we are all well. And as usual, we're going to start with some bit of grifting anyway. So, Gadget, do you want to take Stig's spot and sell away?
Well, yeah. And I'm going to be nice to him. I'm not going to try and do the Stig voice, mostly because it'll hurt my throat too much. We have a Patreon where you can festoon us with money and we shall festoon you with goods.
Ooh.
For Khajiit have wares if thou hast coin.
I understood that reference.
Yay! Because you're a gamer. But yes, head to patreon.com/modernescapism and you can join for £5 a month the Modern Escapees tier, where you get an extended version of this show every week, plus at least one bonus episode, sometimes nearly 10 bonus episodes in a month. We do far too much for this audience.
Sorry.
We shall stop immediately.
At the minute, we are doing a run of Hawkeye, the Disney Plus show, where Oodles and Stig are going through and being nerds and, Stig's doing I think Stig's doing the technical side of it. You know, this is a wonderful TV show, and Oodles is doing it's not the same as the comic books.
Not quite. I'm more saying I like they're doing this over the comic books. Really, I think they're really hitting the stride. MCU, so good. I haven't listened
to it yet because I do want to watch Hawkeye.
I'm not slagging it off as much as you'd imagine.
Oh, okay, that's a shame. If you like D&D. We have an actual play podcast called Do Dragons Dream of Scorched, where I take these idiots through an adventure where they lack foresight, planning, and any ability to actually adventure.
Sums it up perfectly, I think.
Yes, and you can support that for £5 a month on the Scorched tier. That one gives you early access to episodes, completely ad-free, gets you any parody songs that we do, character sheets that I write, any maps that we create. There's always a bit of artwork from Candy where she just renders a horrific scene that we've accounted for. Highlights include, a mysterious ship in a dock, or Stigveld throwing a bear.
Yeah.
Those are things that have been drawn. You can also add NPC names and item ideas for me to include in the campaign if they're good enough.
Trust me, he does it, and he keeps using it.
Yeah. If you want to support both, though, you can join the Biggie bundle. That's £7.50 a month. Best value because you get everything, including access to Biggie's super private OnlyFans.
Even I've not access to that yet.
Yeah, he just posts pictures of like stand-up fans.
Oh.
I've just had another site to open up in Russia that I can store all the files. So yeah.
Sexy.
But yeah, so patreon.com/modernescapism, and you can give us money and we can give you things. Also, if you head to the website, modernescapism.co.uk, you can find our merch store where you can go in and buy some merch with a lot of artwork that Candy has lovingly created for us, including stickers of Biggie's head.
Yeah.
Go about that.
I really had no idea that was there until I saw that, trying to take a picture of something else to show.
I've literally got one on the back of my laptop.
He's scratching them as well, scratch and sniff.
I'd put it on so no one would steal my laptop. I'm joking. I'm joking. They would want to steal it. But yes, thank you very much. Yes, please go and spend your money on us. Thank you very much for that. Let's just get on with the show. Biggie, what have you been up to this week?
Well, I finished Kingdom.
Congratulations.
Really enjoyed that. That was excellent. Yeah, please check that out. So good. Mentioned
really
it last week. Just started Hellbound. Not going to talk about that because I think you need to go into that pretty blind. But it's good so far. Really enjoying that.
Are you checking off the John Cheetham bingo card? Are you just going through the K Botak? Is it K Botak? Is that how you say it?
I think so.
The K Botak history.
Yeah, he's got some good recommendations, as our John. So yeah, started going through that, but really good so far. Finished the morning show. That was excellent.
Is that worth a punt then? Yeah,
I think so.
I mean, looking at it, thinking,
would you sign up for Apple Plus just to watch that? Probably not.
I've got the 6 months when I got the PlayStation.
Yeah, same here. That's what I've got it on. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I thought the wife and I thought it was excellent. Really enjoyed 1 and 2. Cool. I must admit, I don't actually know what they're doing after that. I don't know if it's still going ahead. Interestingly, it's one of the first bits of media, I think, that's actually got COVID in it. They cover COVID, how it starts during the season, which I don't think I've seen anything else actually refer to that.
Mythic Quest did like a between seasons episode where they'd finished the first season and then it was just like before they start the second season, it's like everyone's in lockdown. Like the whole episode was done over like Zoom or FaceTime or whatever. Really well done episode. A bit of a tearjerker in places.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like the way they announced the approach of COVID. It's quite clever. So that's cool. But after that, I've been nerding the fuck out. I have been playing Divinity Original Sin, getting really into that.
It's so good, isn't it?
I've actually started to get my head around the combat, so I was struggling a little bit because I was trying to play it like a bit like an RPG, but I'm now playing it a bit like XCOM, sort of planning where
the battles
my
are long,
are.
and as long as you strap in, you'll win.
I'm starting to change the tactics slightly, and I'm having more success with the combat.
Yeah,
you should,
side quests and stuff.
You should also just try and play it like D&D because the combat is completely based on the rule set of D&D.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, so if you
hits and misses.
Yeah, lots of hits and misses. But if you think like of like the random shit you can do in D&D, and Divinity's really good in that you can kind of chain a lot of that together. Like just as an example, like when I was playing Divinity Original Sin 2, there was a boss I was dealing with, and I ran out of spells apart from a levitation spell that I had. Like I basically just used all my spell slots, kind of thing. So I just used levitation to just chuck barrels at this boss, and the boss kept he kept blowing them up when he was attacking me.
Setting them on fire.
Yeah, it was great. It was just all standing in a circle, just hurling shit at him. It was funny as fuck.
What class did you roll initially, Biggie?
God, I think I'm a scoundrel.
Yeah, so was I. So you're in for a winner there, mate. You're going to be fine.
So yeah, I'm finding my feet in that, but I really enjoyed it. Very funny game. The writing's
so good.
Excellent. Something I wish I'd thought about before as well. The score is really good. It's basic and repetitive, but it works. They've obviously thought about the fact you'll be spending a lot of time in these areas, so the music kicks in different feels for different areas, but it's repetitive, but I never get tired of it. It's really good.
When you finish it and you jump up to the second game, like there's a massive jump in production
everything.
Like the graphics, the music. I mean, the writing's as good as it is in the first one. Like the story's pretty good, but just like the overall presentation layer is so refined, and it's just like I think the first game, I think it was a Kickstarter game, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I mean, they did an excellent job with what they had.
I feel like the first one's the demo to the second one.
Yeah.
Second one is just leaps and bounds way better.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure, but I'm enjoying what I'm playing so far, and I'm going to ruin one side quest because I thought it was brilliant. There's a quest I had to do where there are these talking statues called the Watchers, and I just solved one of the puzzles with one of them, and it says, "Do you want to see the future?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, show me my future." And it brings up the end credits of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that was
Which I
coming.
thought was just class. I thought brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, got a chuckle out of me. And I have also been playing Football Manager 22.
Spreadsheet Simulator.
Which is
free.
nerdier.
Which is free on Game Pass.
It's probably the nerdiest game on Game Pass.
I'm sure it is.
It's super nerdy Football Manager.
But I've spent literally past week or so just tweaking all the stuff that doesn't come with the game, so all the logos, kits, all that kind of thing. Just
It takes
basically
ages.
improving, but I'm at that point where I think I've got it exactly how I want it.
And now you can
just get
play
my
the
teeth
game.
into it. Yes. I've been playing it in between. But because it's only just come out, obviously things are being released, so I've been testing them out to see how they work and stuff. And I like the look of it, I'm enjoying it. So it's pretty basic, but yeah, enjoying it. Not a massive jump from 21, if I'm perfectly honest. If you've got 21, you're probably not going to be missing out too much, if I'm honest. And the fact that it's free, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, is a bonus as well. So
Yeah. I think it's one of them games that you don't... Obviously, you've got an advantage if you're into football, but if you just like stats in general, it's an RPG.
yeah,
That's basically what it is. But a pen and paper RPG.
And you can play it how you want it, so you can get right into the tactics and depths of tweaking left, right, and centre, or you can let all your assistants do loads of stuff, and you can just concentrate on managing the team.
I'll give you one super duper tip, listeners. Don't get it on your phone because you'll lose your life. Trust me.
Aren't you banned from playing it?
Yeah,
Didn't
I'm not allowed
take
to
over
play it
your life
anymore.
completely.
I'm not allowed it at all. If I'm seen on that game, I'm done for. I'm done for. Excellent. Good. Right. Candy.
I've been doing loads this week, so I'm just going to try and rattle through it as quickly as I can. So I started and finished Dead Pixels, which is a 6 episodes, I think, comedy following the lives of gamers playing an MMORPG, which is
not
definitely-
gamers.
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 Definitely based on Elder Scrolls Online, I think. It's called Kingdom Scrolls. So,
Right.
Yeah. Doesn't leave...
Kingdom Scrolls Obliterate.
Yeah. It wasn't side-splitting funny, but it sort of brought a smile to my face, especially as an incurable ESO fan myself. And that's on Netflix. I finished Wool, finally.
Hey, what did you think?
I really, really enjoyed it. And I know you've spoken in detail on previous episodes, so I won't go on about it too much. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've just started Shift, which is the second book in the series.
Yep.
I'm listening to it on Audible, and then the narrator's changed. And I'm not
That
too sure
fucks
that
you
I'm,
off, that.
Yeah, I'm not getting on with the new narrator that well, but I'm going to stick with it and see how it goes. Like I made the mistake of reading a few reviews before I started it, which didn't fill me with a great sense of hope. But I think I just need to listen to it and just because apparently the third one's brilliant. So just to join them up, I'm going to listen to it. I also played a game called Bendy and the Ink Machine, which originally came out. It was a episodic game, came out I think 2018. Maybe I didn't actually look. A few years ago, anyway.
A period of time ago.
Yeah. So again, it was a customer asked me for a Bendy tattoo. I was like, I remember playing the first couple of episodes when it first came out. I never finished it. So I got that done, and it's basically like if you can imagine a mix between Mickey Mouse, BioShock, and Borderlands.
I'm in.
That's
Say those three again.
well, yeah.
My son was obsessed with this when it first came out because of his YouTube heroes, and I bought it for him for Christmas, not knowing what it was. Fucking shit's scary, man.
I think it would be if you're a child. Yeah.
I am a child.
But yeah, it was quite fun. Worth a go. Went back and finished it. But the main thing I did, and I don't know, I'm going to talk about this more in the Patreon section, I think. But I watched the Game Awards, so I don't know if anyone wants to chime in on this one because I'm sure a few of you.
I
I watched them too.
I've seen about 2/3 of it.
Mm.
There's only so much Jeff Keighley I can take in a day.
I thought
He was barely in it.
Yeah, I thought
That's
that
the
was a
problem.
good level of Jeff. Actually, it wasn't too
Yeah,
much Jeff.
He wasn't
I'd take
taking
some
over
shoes
this
on.
time, was he? It's not like his Summer Game Fest where it's just the Jeff show.
Jeff Fest.
I mean,
Is he the one that shouts out "world premiere"?
No.
Come after him, everything he says.
no. I tell you what, though, there wasn't many awards on it, was there?
No, it was
No.
just reveals. It was trailers and reveals, which was fine
Adverts.
for me.
I did like the fact that you brought on Hideo Kojima just because he's my best mate kind of thing.
Yeah.
When Hideo Kojima had nothing to announce, so he just showed off Guillermo del Toro's next film at the Game Awards.
And Guillermo del Toro said, I'd like a game, something along the lines of Silent Hill to come out. Like, shut up, Guillermo. We know what you're talking about. We know what you're doing.
I hope another one of those comes out, is what he said.
Yeah.
You bastard.
And see what you're doing there.
But yeah, no,
Don't
really.
give us hope.
Really enjoyed it. I think it's my favorite. It's been my favorite game show. I think this, not game show, you know what I mean, a show that features games. In the last year or so. Like
I
the
liked
look
it. I thought it was just absolutely okay.
No, I really enjoyed it. I thought there were quite a few. Have a Nice Death looked fun.
Yeah, it did.
Which is a 2D platformer. Hellblade 2. I cannot get enough of that trailer. We haven't had a trailer for about 2 years, I think, and I was hooked on the first trailer. I hadn't played the first one before I saw it, so that's what got me to play it in the first place. I'm so excited.
Looks stunning, doesn't it?
Oh, and it was a gameplay trailer as well. It wasn't even a cinematic.
They're like fighting that Grendel.
They should be.
They're fighting that Grendel creature, and it's like, it's fucking haunting. Just, it looks like they're getting away from the in a dream type thing. Obviously, Senua is still getting those. Don't go in there. Don't go in there.
Yeah, you can still hear the whispers.
It seems like that's
stuff.
real life rather than the hellscape that you were in on the original game.
Well, I think it would have to be because those are the people that she's commanding by the look of it. So they must be actually seeing it, I would think.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Like, I'm pretty sure that's Grendel from Beowulf. I'm pretty sure.
Something, yeah.
But
I mean, it's all
if it is, they're going through that Nordic mythos, which I'm into.
I think they are because they've moved to Iceland, haven't they? It was in the Orkney Islands to begin with, and now it's based in Iceland, I think. So I don't know if it's maybe a partial reboot or if it's an actual sequel. But yeah, I'm so excited.
It looks stunning.
Yeah.
Looks unreal.
Star Wars Eclipse, that's another one that piqued my interest.
Just was a cinematic, wasn't it?
That was a cinematic, but I think that one looks like it's going to be set around the time that Anakin was growing up because you see a shot of Yoda still in the kind of Jedi.
I think it's
the High Republic.
Yeah, I think it's set just before Anakin, I think. Yeah, it's High Republic.
They're saying like High Republic was like a 200-year period before the prequels or something like that, isn't it? Like you've got Newt Gunray, you've got the blockade and stuff like that. You've got the Trade Federation and all that nonsense.
Plenty of time for people to hate sand.
Plenty of time.
It's yeah. Also remember it's a David Cage game. It's going to be problematic. Probably going to be our first Star Wars thing with tits in it.
Do you think you're going to be able to take a Twi'lek into the showers?
Oh, God.
I mean potentially.
Probably.
And David Cage himself will be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
They need to take more than 2 bottles into the shower, though, won't they? The Twi'leks.
Oh.
You're walking like the Jedi High Council building, and there'll just be David Cage sat there going, "This is a game about symbolism." The Jedi are war and shit like that because he can't help himself.
He'll put it right on the nose. The Republic are like Nazis. We know, David. We know.
Thank you. We understand.
We get
For the
fascism.
first time, robots.
Yeah. In this world, we call them droids.
The big reveal. Alan Wake 2 has been announced as a full-blown survival horror this time.
Now, is it me? Or did Alan Wake look like Bradley Cooper in that trailer?
A little bit like Bradley Cooper.
I thought Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, that look as well. Yeah.
So that's quite exciting.
Maybe their bastard child.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely Gyllenhaal.
Wasn't there a Silent Hill game kind of revealed?
Slitterhead.
Slitterhead.
Which looks more like an acid trip than Silent Hill. It looks absolutely weird.
Yeah. Looks like it's set in Hong Kong, I think.
It's made by, I think, the composer to Silent Hill and one of the producers or something. So there's Silent Hill links, but
it's the creator of Silent Hill, so like the game director of the first game.
Yeah.
And Akira, whatever his name is, I can't remember his name, but yeah, the composer of Silent Hill.
It looks more
1, 2,
daft
3, and 4.
than Silent Hill.
It looks surreal. Like I'm kind of into it.
It wasn't very like the CGI thing that they showed didn't look very good. It
didn't look
it's stylized, but it didn't look good.
I don't care necessarily if it's like a ultra realistic or like a high definition like detail game. If it's scary and fun to play, like I'm quite happy for a stylized horror game.
I don't give a fuck about graphics, but I know a lot of people do.
Yeah, and a lot of times when they focus too much on the graphics, you lose the scares. Like I will go back to it, still pissed off about it. The Medium, beautiful looking game.
What a weekend that was.
Not scary, and it was shite.
Wasted 10 hours.
I thought it was all right. I didn't hate it.
I'm coming for you. Come get me.
Yeah.
I'm not scared.
Yeah, he was bad. Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh, yeah.
Another one. Just it was more of a demonstration of all the environments that's going to be open to us, and then it followed by
And the snake. The snake robot.
You know what? I'm disappointed after the last reveal. You know, they delayed Forbidden West a little bit into next year, and you know, Aloy still looks like a normal human woman. They haven't put the makeup on her that the internet wanted. They haven't made her sexy.
And now
Right,
what a
that's it, not
shame.
playing.
She's still got bad teeth. Oh no.
Yeah, 0 out of 10. Won't play.
Yeah, no tits. Not interested.
literally unplayable.
Yeah.
But I like the way they followed it with an orchestral piece from it as well. So if you
the
listen to
the
it,
Game Awards Orchestra are phenomenal.
so good. You know, a soundtrack just goes straight to my soul.
Mm.
Nightingale looked fun as well. That was a new IP.
That one with the giants.
No, it was.
Is that the crafting one? Am I thinking of something else?
Nightingale was the it was like kind of trans-dimensional, stuck in another universe kind of thing.
Yeah.
There was
kind
Gollum.
of foggy forest.
Gollum as well.
I'm still
Gollum
not
looks
convinced of
fucking
Gollum.
wank.
He looks like an Aardman animation. I thought, like
Just
he
a
looks
bit.
like Wallace and Gromit.
It looks terrible. I cannot listen to Gollum not being Andy Serkis, and I'm not Andy Serkis' biggest fan, but his voice is what
He's
Gollum
iconic.
sounds like.
The I think what's setting off me that I'm not that bothered by the art style or kind of the voice actor for Gollum. Fine, whatever, they do what you do, but I don't see it as a game that needs to exist. Like
No.
it's a stealth hide 'em up thing. Like why not just make like there are loads of stealth hide 'em up games that will probably do this better and doesn't. No one needed to know how Gollum escaped from Mount Doom.
Bring
you
back
know?
Thief. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Bring that back.
Speaking of which, isn't it the 20-year anniversary of like the Fellowship?
Something like that, yeah.
Actually, yeah, this month because it was
That's
December
just
20.
mad.
December 2001 that
believe
the
that.
first film came out.
20 years, fucking hell.
It's weird that
We're getting old.
I paid for cinema myself to watch that. That's how old I feel.
Not a treat for mum and dad.
No,
I sat
got it
next to
myself.
Tolkien when we watched it.
I bet you did. I bet you wrote half of it.
The Bombadil stuff.
God, that's the best bit. No, it's not. I'm joking.
I'm
I'm joking.
Don't you kid about that. Fuck me. I hate that section. I always skip that section of the book.
Everyone does.
Just take like the next 30 pages and just skip over.
Rip them out. Rip
Yeah.
them out. Don't need it. Straight to Brie. Here we are. We're in Brie.
And just a few more, just because I'll be here all night otherwise. Tiny Tina's Wonderland looks out. I'm really
Yeah.
excited for that. We got a release date for that, March 22nd. Metal Hellsinger, which I've also... Is it Hellsinger or Hellslinger?
Well, hell,
Anyway,
yeah. That was... Like, you had the Trivium guy coming on.
that's right.
I didn't even know he didn't have any hair anymore. That shocked me. And then it's like, we got the guys from Lamb of God. It's going to be incredible. And it's just Edgelord the game, isn't it? It's going to be mint.
Yeah.
It's going to be mint. It's going to be...
You're going to be there day one,
It's
aren't
gonna
you?
be
Your little goth
fantastic.
self, you're going to have get your makeup back on
Yeah.
your finger, nails pointed painted.
Guns, skeletons. It's going to
I'm
be
going to be
incredible.
so shit at it, though. I'm so excited. I'm just now because not only am I shit at first-person shooters, but I don't have much rhythm. So the combination
It
of the
looks
two.
it looks like Doom, where you don't have to be good at first-person shooters.
Well, the thing is that there's a game similar to it out, which I've got on Steam called BPM, Bullets Per Minute.
Yes.
And it's got exactly the same conceit. You've got to shoot on the beat.
Yeah.
But this one's a roguelike rather than a campaign. It's fucking hard because you don't realize like how like I'm a musician, I can hold a metal beat, and it's really weird to like time your gunshots to the beat.
Yeah, I'll definitely
So
get in this though.
You've
Just
got to like rethink how you play the game.
yeah, have you
so
seen
weird.
the bands confirmed in this? It's ridiculous. They're all in it.
Actually,
They're all in it, mate. There's Celtic
bands are
Frost in
there?
it, for God's
Yes.
sake.
hang on, let's have a look. Bands in so it's Metal Hellsinger,
Yeah.
not Slinger.
Apparently, it's not releasing at massive cost either. It's like a budget title, so even better.
Well, it may not be that long. If it's only like 10 or 12 songs, maybe
Yeah.
that's like a song per level.
Yeah, and I think they're all original songs as well.
I think so. That's what I read.
Wouldn't that be like a licensing issue further down the line?
Well, I'll just play it on stream fast. Fast and loose.
No, it's just, GTA had to drop tracks because they've, lost the license or not renewed.
They did
the
have big,
license.
massive hits, though. Do you know what I mean? Big,
I was going to say these are actually made for the
For
game,
the
aren't they?
game,
So you
yeah.
would think they're probably some kind of contractually obliged to have to let them stream.
Okay.
What I'm thinking of, if these games like do well, then you'll get other genre games coming out in a similar vein. Like
Hip hop.
you could do a hip hop shooter or a hip hop platformer or something. You could absolutely, of course, you could.
I mean, does no one remember Wu-Tang Taste the Pain?
That was it. Yeah, hip hop fighting. Yeah, exactly.
So,
Shocker.
yeah, finally found it on Loudwire. So, Metal Hellsinger will feature vocal performances from rockers such as Trivium's Matt Heafy, Arch Enemy's Alyssa White Glues, Ginger's Tatiana Schmeiluk.
Yep.
Butchered her name entirely. But the singer from Ginger, she's incredible.
She's got some right pipes on her.
Pipes? It sounds like she's drilling glass in her throat. It's ridiculous.
Then she sings beautiful choruses as well. It's so good.
Soilworks Bjorn Speed Strid.
Yeah.
Ooh, Dark Tranquility's Mikhail Stanny and Black Crown Initiate's James Dorton. So there's some fucking good singers
Absolute
in there.
beasts. It's going to be intense. I can't wait for that.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm going to buy you it. And you've got to stream it and go, what is this noise?
All I can hear is bang, bang, bang. We also got the Matrix Unreal 5 demo, which turns out is an actual little free game that you can play, which I haven't played yet. That's
Good God.
Be,
We have thoughts.
Good God.
Oh,
I have
can't
many
tell from your
thoughts on
face
that
what
as
those
well.
Thoughts are.
Good thoughts, very good thoughts. But just it just we need to like vomit out the praise. That's basically what needs to happen.
Well, I look forward to that then. And yeah, before we move on, I just want to say massive congratulations to friend of the show, Ross Tregenza. He was not only nominated for a Game Award for his work on Deathloop, but he was also able to announce that he's been working on the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre game as well that's coming out.
Yeah,
So that's
buzzing
probably
for
right
that.
up his street.
Buzzing,
Yeah.
nice.
Well done, Ross.
Excellent
Well
work.
done.
Best lad.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So we're going to move on to me now. I haven't done as much as you guys. Obviously, I watched the Game Awards. I was going to brush on that a little bit, but I've been playing Avengers again
Oh no, why?
because it's got better.
It started at a very low point, so getting better doesn't necessarily mean that's any good.
It's still not a good game, but it got better.
I say it's got less worse.
Yeah. So I've actually finished all the campaigns in it now. The War for Wakanda, fantastic. It's better than the main game, mainly because it's got a story.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that helps. The Spider-Man stuff that's in it is terrible. Probably worst character in the game. So don't worry if you're playing it on Xbox. He is crap. Really got into the Hawkeye and Kate Bishop stuff, mainly because I'm watching Hawkeye and I'm just in that mood. Kate Bishop is overpowered. If you don't know what the game is, it's almost a Destiny-style looter shooter thing, but without the shooting. You fight robots in it, basically, repeatedly. Guess what, guys? I did a raid with humans, with actual real people.
You did multiplayer.
I did multiplayer, and we won.
Organised multiplayer, not just like jumping into a lobby and getting
Mate,
killed a lot.
I spoke to them.
Oh,
What have you done with Oodles?
One was Scottish.
And you could understand anything he said?
No.
'Cause I know you struggled with Punk last week.
No, I couldn't. But we did a raid. And
Sorry, was it a successful raid?
yeah, we won. We beat the
So you
robots.
didn't Leroy Jenkins it.
No. We beat the robots. And then they were like, oh, so we do it again? And I was like, no, bye. Had me fun.
Did you get a reward though?
Yeah, I got my gear that I want. I'm maining Kate Bishop because she's like OP. Imagine having an archer, so you've already got the advantage over someone like Captain America. You've got range, but she can teleport as well. So that's me. I'm here. It's a rogue, pure rogue.
So does that mean you're basically playing like Nightcrawler?
Yeah.
You're just bouncing around, killing things from a
And
distance.
Unlimited warping. There's no cooldown.
That seems fucking broken.
Yeah, I know, but she's new.
Is there PvP in the game, or is it just PvE?
No, it's PvE.
All right, okay. Because I was saying PvP,
Yeah,
that would
imagine
be
that.
so broken.
Well, they said they were going to do PvP, but I think they've just left the game to die now. Now they've done the contractual Spider-Man thing, and I swear to God, Spider-Man's crap. It's so bad.
They've got a bit of neck on them putting Spider-Man into that game, given how good PS4 Spider-Man was. Like, you need to, if you're going to put Spider-Man into a game in a similar vein to it, like an action adventure game.
Yeah.
You need to at least do it as good as the other game that you can get with that character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the main thing they did that makes the game a lot more fun to play is they got rid of a lot of the grind, the cosmetic grind. Now you can unlock them quite easily. You don't have to pay real cash to look cool.
But didn't they put pay to win shit in there?
Oh god,
as well,
yeah,
though?
they did. Yeah, pay to experience and stuff. That's gone.
That's it. Yeah,
That's gone. It's out of the of the water now. We've a 24 gigabyte patch to get rid of that. So that was
a lot of pay to win shit.
That was ingrained into the whole thing. So it's nice to see that go away. It's just it's very repetitive, but these games are Destiny is very repetitive. You know what I mean? If you're playing on your own, you're not getting that much. I mean, Destiny looks a lot better. It's a more beautiful game by a long stretch, and the shooting's incredible on Destiny. But yeah, it's fun. But the main thing I've been talking about is my new obsession, Loop Hero. Have we heard of Loop Hero?
No.
I have heard of it, but I don't know much about it.
The best way to describe Loop Hero, it's a computer game, everybody. The best way to describe it is by using the Wikipedia entry. So Loop Hero is a 2021 endless RPG developed by Russian studio Four Quarters and published by Devolver Digital. So you already know what you're in for. The game takes place in a randomly generated world where the player changes the world by placing cards instead of directly controlling a character. So the easiest way to describe it is it looks like your games like Shovel Knight, as in it's 8-bit kind of thing. You've got an empty void and basically a circular path where your character constantly walks around, and you then put the cards down or the stats down for battles to appear, or let's say buildings to appear, taverns, mountains. You're basically the game designer as the game's constantly looping. Are you following?
Just about.
Yeah. How are you playing this? Seeing as you aren't aware of time.
Oh, you can pause it.
Okay,
that's the main.
Perfect for you then.
Yeah, you can pause it. So basically, the game's on like a day cycle. So every loop's a day. You know what I mean? And every day you get something new pops out. Every time you win a battle, a new card will pop up. You can have unlimited. There's no deck limit or anything like. It's not a deck builder. Cards just pop up. You can let's say I killed a slime. Basically, I don't control the battles. The battles control like Final Fantasy battles, which is just turn-based, but you don't control them. Let's say in that battle I unlocked a sword, so I can equip the sword on the guy so he can finish the battles quicker, do more damage, and I also unlock a swamp. Now, the swamp will say, putting this swamp down will give you more resources every time you walk over the swamp. However, you're more likely to run into a wolf or a swamp goblin. Do you get what I mean?
Okay.
So it's like risk-reward type thing. There's a bit of a dice roll edge to it. And my God, it's fucking addictive. It's. I've never felt this one more run since like Into the Breach.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think.
Is this on the Switch? I take it.
It's on the Switch and PC. It's like £12 and all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you. And it's just, oh my God, it's. If you listen to this, just look at the images of it because it's hard for me to really put it to words. It's not a pretty game, but it's not an ugly game either. It's like it knows what it's trying to be. It is 8-bit. It looks like an Amiga game or something like that. But there's so much.
Yeah, I'm looking at screenshots now. It's got a crunchiness to it.
Yeah, it's actually got a lot of filters you can put on it as well to make it look super, super, super duper crunchy. You can even put scan lines on it and everything.
So, stop tempting me for it.
Yeah, it's. I imagine I'd probably like this more. Get ready. Are you sitting down on PC? Because I know. So,
Mr. Console Gamer himself.
Yeah, I just think a mouse would make it a lot quicker. I could like you can like remember on The Sims where you had like 3 different speeds that you could do on Sims. It's like that. If you really want to just speed it up, you can do that. But obviously, because I'm on Switch and I'm taking a little bit longer to click on the tiles I want to click on, I'm slowing it down more. So the runs are taking a little bit longer than anticipated. But it's just really clever how like there is also like a metagame to it where, let's say you get a mountain card. If you put 4 blocks of mountain cards together, they become a super mountain or a volcano, which you'll get more like rocks and stuff like that to build back at your base. But also, what comes out of super volcanoes in fantasies? Dragons. Do you know what I mean? So it's a risk reward, and then you've got that. You've also every loop you do, you're getting more and more equipment. If you die on your loop, on one of the loops, you lose that. You lose 70% of you. So when you get once you've done one lap, like a race car game, once you've got to the beginning of the lap again, you've got a choice. Do you want to go back to camp and bank everything you've got and start the loop again, and then build back it because you're building a base basically back at home, or do you want to risk it again for double XP or something. Do you know what I mean? It does that to you.
Yeah.
And oh god, it's just so fucking good. I can't believe this game. It was a Game Award nominee as well. It's got like, I think it's got like an 85 or something on Metacritic. It's well loved, but the Switch part is just exceptional. And it's one of those games it's so fun, but it's 209 megabytes.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you do this? This is like magic, and it's just I know I'm terrible at selling things to people, but this game is next level incredible.
£13.49 on the eShop, and if you want to get it on Steam, which I literally just have, it's £7.49.
Just bought it.
At the time of recording. Yeah.
You're gonna, I swear, you're gonna curse me next week. You're gonna say, why did you make me get it?
The quickest recommendation to somebody getting involved that we've ever had.
Probably.
He's just bought it from listening to
The thing is, Biggie, he's gonna hate me because he's not gonna be able to do his work. Knowing that Loop Hero's just there in the corner, because you could proper minimise it, mate, and play it while you're working.
Oh, don't stay there.
I swear, it is incredible. The second this game comes out on iPad,
it's also it's even smaller on PC. Like, it's taken me 8 seconds to download the whole game. 140 meg.
That's what I mean. It's so, mate. It's you could literally start playing it while we're recording this, and it wouldn't put you off. It's not like an endless run or anything like that. It's not a. You have to focus, and you have to pause time and like, it doesn't tell you what combinations make what, but it makes you make sense. Like, you can put a lighthouse card, and in your head, it makes sense to put a lighthouse card near water, wouldn't it? And then you get, and obviously it works. It's like, you get an even better lighthouse, and every battle you have, there's a random chance that you can blind the enemy. Do you know what I mean? It's that.
Right, okay,
but there's a random chat, it could blind you as well. So it's like, it's just super good. I can't believe this game exists.
Well, that's installed now, so I may play it tonight while I'm waiting for things to pre-process.
Mate, you're gonna fucking curse me. Anyone listening to this and buys it because of me, you're gonna hate me. It's one of the, like, it's like when someone told me to get Into the Breach, I'm like, oh, it looks fine. And then a week later, I'm like, you fuckers, this is one of the best games ever made. This is incredible.
Gadget might complete it before the end of the pod, so then we'll have a recommendation, the purchase, and the completion all in one show.
There is a story to it. There's a tiny little bit of a story, and I think you can complete it, but there's an endless mode as well. And I'm like,
why would you tell me?
I want to be endless.
If that comes out on iPad, people will die of starvation by the sounds of it.
It's just so good. If you've got a Switch or a laptop that can run Doom, the original Doom, get it downloaded, because, oh my God, it's just incredible. And if we can support Devolver Digital, let's keep supporting them, because they just publish some of the best games we've played, really.
Well, absolutely. I mean,
they're ridiculous at the moment.
Like, Inscription is one of my favourite games of the year that I've been playing. They published that.
Yeah, it's just...
You got to love Devolver for publishing a fucking weird game every so often.
I think Loop Hero's just hits exactly what I need. I think it's an ADHD curer, because it's doing what I need. I'm constantly, like, discovering new things, and, like, even... it's not a roguelike, but every time you fail, you don't lose everything. You only lose 70%, so you're still progressing, and it's that makes you think, one more run. And if you're having a bad run, you'll just retreat, because you can retreat at any time. Even if you're on like 1 HP and I can't make it to you retreat, but you'll get a 30% penalty for everything you've collected. So there's no, it's not like super tough, it's just super fucking good. So, Loop Hero. Oh, do you know what? It's scraping Monster Hunter Rise already. It's scraping it.
Ooh,
I don't think it will peak it, because Monster Hunter Rise does a lot more. But it's...
I was going to say, you got to be careful. John's going to be in the corner crying at this.
I don't think John should buy Loop Hero, because I think he'd be addicted to it. I think everyone would be. It's just fantastic. We made this podcast for procrastination, and that game personifies it. Trust me. So, Gadget, finally. Let's save the best till last, because I think you've got something hot on the tongues of gamers across the universe this week to talk about.
I do, in fact. A couple of other things before I get started. So, first of all, I listened to last week's podcast.
Oh.
Thank you very much to Punkt for joining and filling in my place as the person with the accent that no one can understand. But no, it was a fun podcast. I don't know how you managed to make it so short. All that makes me think is that I fucking talk for too much.
No, anyway, we said that after. We were like, I think it's because we just smashed the main topic and we're like, no one argued. It was like, yeah, that works.
Yeah, that's right.
That works.
But no, it was a very good podcast, and thank you to Debbie Punk for standing in my stead.
And our executive producer, Supernaticat.
Yes. And to Stig for doing a marvellous edit.
He did, didn't he?
He did.
He did. He did very well, didn't he?
Good boy.
He's a good boy.
Although somebody here might not be so happy about it.
Send the better.
Because Candy literally died on air.
I did, unfortunately. Yeah, I was very snotty. But...
That Easter egg that he put at the end, he missed a trick, because as soon as I listened to that, because it was just a compilation of your snots and sniffs throughout, I don't know why he didn't put the bass line to Money from Pink Floyd underneath it.
I thought that as well. That must be the musician in us. I was like, oh my God, it's Pink Floyd.
I could just hear all these little snorts, and then just in my head I hear...
Yeah, oh God, I was... Yes, I didn't mention that. I was like, fucking hell. Yeah.
Maybe quite finished.
But other things I've done. I watched the second season of Mythic Quest.
It's good, isn't it?
Which it's good. I'm not going to go into it because Candy went into it a few weeks ago, but it's not as good as the first season. I think they did too much of like the interpersonal relationships rather than talking about the game. I loved the 2-episode arc that CW got, like his history. I thought that was heartbreaking. Like, because he's just seen like how awful a person he became, and then like the resolution to it.
It is worth streaming on some parts of that. I think the first season is better though.
The first season is better, but I like that they developed Joe's character. I thought, is it David the boss?
Yeah.
I thought he was just hilariously pathetic throughout the whole thing.
As usual.
The whole episode where they did the HR reviews, and he's just like, I'm a wolf baby, and it's just because he's got the score wrong. He was so David Hornsby is so funny.
He knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed that. I've also been watching Extreme Beastmaster on...
The fucking hell's that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
So you know Ninja Warrior?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Americans doing Ninja Warrior.
Oh, no.
So they've just taken Ninja Warrior and done it more. A
lot more saluting.
Yeah, well, so it's on Netflix, and basically the stage set is like this huge metallic beast with all these kind of challenges on the inside, like physicality challenges. It's so stupid because the way they've done it is, you know how like stuff like Total Wipeout, they build the sets somewhere, and then like different production companies from different channels just use the same set.
Yeah, I think the Total Wipeout was like Argentina or something.
Yeah. So in this one, they've got the whole set there, and they basically just film it all at the same time. They've got 9 sets of commentators there from different countries, and all these countries going against each other. But they're all in like booths next to each other. So like they're all hammered. They're all so drunk. So when like someone's going through the challenge, like say if it's like I think what was one of the, so there was a French guy doing the course at the time. So the French commentators are doing their commentary, and the 2 British commentators just walk in when the guy falls off and goes, bloody French, we knew you wouldn't do it, stuff like that. It's so
cowards,
stupid.
where were you?
And there's a very famous celebrity that presents it as well.
Yeah, CM Punk.
What? No,
the wrestler.
way.
Yeah, he's one of the American commentators.
No
Well, there's another one.
There's another one. Oh,
Sylvester Stallone, is it not?
No, he's a producer, not a presenter.
But doesn't he present the very first?
Nope. Well, he didn't present the series I'm watching anyway.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he
But
appears.
he's
like,
the producer and money man
welcome
behind it.
to Beastmaster.
I'm sure he did.
First up on the stage.
Like one of the Australian commentators is Danny Minogue of all people.
Why not?
I have to say, the way you described it sounds a little bit like the Eurovision Song Contest, with all the commentators in the booths getting more and more drunk.
It's very much.
And it's such a weird...
It's like the Eurovision Hunger Games.
You can't help but watch it though, can you? It's quite captivating.
No, you can't help it. But like the Italian commentator, I'm not even talking about any of the athletes. The athletes are just fine. They're just doing their
They're really
thing.
good athletes.
Yeah, the commentators are the real draw. Like one of the Italians, there's generally it's a male and a female commentator for each group. The bloke for the Italian one, he just stands up on the set all the time screaming at the people running down because he's off his tits. It's so funny. It's so funny. There's like 3 seasons of it on Netflix. It's worth a watch just to see the ridiculous
I like
spectacle
putting
of
stuff
it.
like that on when I'm playing the Switch and stuff, so I absolutely will.
Absolutely perfect background.
When I'm
watching.
Loop Hero in.
Yeah, but yeah, it's such a giggle. But yeah, the main thing I've been doing is it's the cultural zeitgeist. It's making me feel like I'm a young man again. Halo Infinite dropped. Oh my god, it's good. Yep,
that one.
Yes. So the standard things. Published by Microsoft. 343 Industries made it. It's on the Xbox Series X.
If you don't know what Halo is,
PC.
what the fuck are you doing listening to this?
Exactly. Yeah, it's Halo. It's the 6th Halo game, like 6th mainline Halo game.
So
Well, yeah, the last one was
It's
5. So this
Killzone
will be the
killer,
6th.
basically.
I think Killzone killed itself, mate. Cowgunned itself in the fucking face.
There's an episode called Killzone Killed Itself. So Halo Infinite picks up at some point in the story. It's actually not really that connected to the full storyline because it takes place like months upon months after Halo 5 finished, and it starts off it's a very cold open at the start. It like starts off at the end of a battle that had nothing to do with anything that happened in the previous games. So it's almost like a soft reboot.
Do you have to have read a novel before you play this?
No, you have to have played Halo Wars 2 because the baddies in it are the Banished, who were the
I didn't even know there was an Halo Wars 2.
Yeah, it came out about 3 years ago. The baddies in Halo Wars 2, the real-time strategy spin-off, are the baddies in Halo Infinite.
You love to see it.
So if you want the lore of the Banished, you either need to read it up on Wikipedia or you need to play Halo Wars 2, which is not a good RTS game.
I didn't like the first one, really. I didn't really...
First one was fine.
I didn't click on with it that well. I like an RTS as well.
So you start off floating in deep space. You're picked up by this guy who's floating in a kind of disabled pelican and he's Echo 246 or something like that. He hasn't been given like a name. He's got a call sign. He picks you up and immediately you get Halo Combat Evolved vibes from it because the tutorial thing has you staring down at Echo. And he's like, look at the light up, look at the light down, look at the light left, right. It's basically the exact same way.
Do you want to invert this?
Plays out. Yeah, exact same way it plays out in Halo Combat Evolved. And then it's just like, you need to go and start doing stuff. You need to get power for the ship. There happens to be this really big Banished ship that's just kind of like hanging out nearby. And that you're trying not to get killed by.
He gets into the ship.
He does. But he gets into the ship by depressurizing the back of the Pelican and flying through space.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very cool. It's got like that Halo 2 vibe to it. You remember that opening scene in Halo 2?
I'm bringing back the bomb.
Yeah. And he gets a gun off Echo. He says, but it's only got one bullet in it, Chief. It's enough.
Oh, what a boy. Go on, John.
So anyway, you end up blowing up this massive ship, and then you land on Zeta Halo, which is another Halo ring. This one is severely damaged. It's got a massive gaping hole in it.
Oh.
It's full of all these hexagonal building blocks, and yeah, you have to just start fucking shit up for the Banished. And you know what? It feels like Halo Combat Evolved. It really feels like the
best one in my opinion.
It's I think because 343, like Halo 4 and Halo 5, were not good, and they didn't feel like Halo games. They felt more like generic first-person shooters. Mm-hmm. This one, it feels like the Bungie-style Halo games. There's a lot of weight to how the Master Chief moves. The weapons sound great. One of the shotguns is shit, but other than that, all the weapons are really good.
But you did say one of the shotguns, which means there's another.
There's 2 shotguns. There's 2 versions of the Bulldog, yeah.
It's fine then.
Yeah. It's just really fucking good. A big difference on it, and I think something that people have found like a real big issue is it's now an open world game, but it's not really an open world game. It's an open world game the same way that Metro Exodus is.
Oh, so it's not then.
In that it's a really linear game. You just happen to have like random shit you can do on the way to the next mission.
Big maps.
Yeah, just a really, really fucking big map. So it's not like a true open world game. You can go back and forth up and down the map all you want. You can climb mountains to go find stuff.
But there's clear boundaries and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can only go so far. It's a huge map, though. It's really big, but it's not like an Ubisoft map or like Days Gone's map or anything like that.
Oh, no, it's too big.
No, but you're basically working from linear mission to linear mission. And it's just really, really fucking good. I think it's the best Halo game for a very long time.
It's about time, though, isn't it, really?
Yeah, graphics are gorgeous. I'm playing it on Series X. It runs at a buttery smooth 60 frames a second. The story so far is fine. It's standard Halo bollocks. Like, I'm not going to say it's the best story in the world, but the performance on the Master Chief is great. The performance on Echo is great. Instead of Cortana this time, because Cortana is, I think, supposed to be dead. I assume she's probably
it's a robot thing, isn't it?
Well, so there's another AI.
Okay.
This one's called Weapon.
Oh.
And I think she was in Halo 5. I can't remember. It's been so long since I fucking played it.
Didn't Cortana turn bad or something?
Yeah, Cortana turned bad in Halo 4, I think. Or Halo 5.
She's on my laptop.
There's a lot of lore involved, but either way, yeah, Cortana's not involved. So you have Weapon, who is based on Cortana. She looks like Cortana, but her personality and her writing is so funny. She's so innocent and just like naive and like wide-eyed and like, oh, don't you think you shouldn't be doing that? That might be a bit dangerous. Oh no, you're doing it anyway. Okay, fine. You know?
So the pervs can still fancy a little blue hologram then?
If you want, yeah.
Because I know a lot of people were like, Cortana, whoa. It's like, mate,
Yeah.
she's not real.
Actually, you know what? I will say, like, there's been a couple of like cutscene flashbacks where you do see Cortana and you see Weapon and that kind of thing.
Oh.
They've massively desexualized her, and I think that's really good. Like, it basically the hologram looks like she's just wearing like a Starfleet uniform kind of thing, and it's like they've really paid a lot of respect to the character. Like, there's not. Like, I mean, the Cortana design in Halo 4 was ridiculous.
Just titties, wasn't it?
Massive tits. Just unnecessary.
You've always got Mass Effect if anyone wants to get that bit off.
Well, true, yeah. But at least with Mass Effect, they're not presenting it on holograms.
Yeah.
You know, like Cortana is not a creature that exists.
Yeah, you had the AI one though, didn't you, in 3, wasn't it? That they sexualized as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's one of
the 2010s were dark days.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where everything had to be sexualized. It's like I was always under the if that's sexualized, why hasn't Master Chief got a massive cod piece?
Exactly.
Give him one.
But yeah, they've really kind of stepped it up with the presentation, the story. Playing through the world is a lot of fun. The driving is still just as dodgy as ever. You don't really steer the car; you more give it a mere suggestion as to where you want it to look. And you get about 70% of the time you might get there. But no, it's really interesting, really intriguing, and I don't think it's going to be my game of the year. But like it is really fun.
Best shooter of the year.
Definitely the best shooter of the year. Yeah. Absolutely. Like, obviously, we made a lot of jokes about how it looked last year when they did like the reveal, like ahead of the Xbox Series X coming out.
Craig. I liked him.
There is a little tribute to him. There's a little statue of him in there.
I want him. I loved him. I always liked him from day one.
But yeah, you can see that they've actually used the extra time that they were given properly. Like, they've really polished up the game. All the mechanics are well. The grapple hook that the Master Chief has now, which is kind of his big new ability, is so fucking good.
It looks so cool. I've seen it on a few clips. I've seen a few lads on YouTube and that playing the multiplayer. I'm like, whoa, that's a game changer. That's
yeah. Well, when you're doing it in the campaign, like you can get upgrades for it. So like I'm like halfway up down the upgrade tree, so I've got it where it recharges faster, and then there's also got like an electric spark in it.
Nice.
So when you grab onto someone and pull yourself towards them, they get electrocuted, so they can't shoot at you as you're going towards them.
Oh, that's
nice.
cool.
But if you grab onto someone and then just fly straight towards them and just hit the right stick, as you get the end there, you just finish flying towards them with a massive punch.
Good.
Nice.
It's but you can also, like, you know, if you run out of ammo, you can use the grapple shot to like pull a weapon towards you and like swap your weapon like from a distance. It's so good.
I saw people moaning, saying that, oh, there's no chapters. And I just wanted to be like, you've got a multiplayer game, which is apparently excellent, an excellent campaign, and it's cost you a subscription a month. Grow up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that's the one thing that's lost from like the older Halo games. Like, you just don't have a mission selecting because it's a non-linear game. You know, like it doesn't. In the previous games, you would finish your chapter and then there would be a cutscene.
Yeah, like
and
the
you'd travel
amount of
to the
times
next place in the cutscene.
I like when I went to my friend's house and he's like, "Oh, this silent cartography level, play this." You know what I mean? It's like you can't do that anymore. So.
The thing is that the co-op mode isn't out yet. So what I kind of have a sneaking suspicion that they will probably, when the co-op mode comes out, allow you to basically just jump into the story missions.
Drop in, drop out.
Yeah, like so like you'll have completed the game and you can then just go through and just pick a story mission. It'll just warp you to that area.
A game like that.
Or you can explore the open world if you want.
A game like Halo, I've always found it to be like, I've played the first three and I absolutely love the first three. And I'm not a big first-person shooter guy, but I think they're really accessible, the first trilogy. And
Reach.
I'd never played that. I always went through them myself, and then I liked playing on co-op with them, split-screen co-op and stuff, because when you play certain games like that and people are talking and characters are talking to you and then you want to explore a little bit, you can't when you're co-oping because you're always playing with somebody else there. I'm at the gate, come on. Like, fucking hell, mate.
Yeah, Borderlands suffers from that.
Yeah. Come on, mate.
Play through it first, then do
I want to
co-op.
lift every leaf. I want to turn it over. Do you know what I mean? I want to see what's here.
Yeah, like I remember with one of my best friends in school, Mark, like he had an Xbox and it was for the first Halo.
Yeah.
He'd gone through it all on normal mode, and then the two of us, it was like over summer holidays, we just kind of worked through the entire game on Legendary and co-op.
Nice. Yeah, even I've beat it on Legendary co-op, and I'm terrible. I probably made it harder for the person I was playing it with.
But yeah, I mean, if you've got an Xbox or you've got a half-decent PC, just fucking play Halo. It's free on Game Pass. It's so good. It's just so
I
good.
don't know why I sold my Xbox now.
You're a fool.
I'll get a new one.
But yeah, play Halo.
I'm glad it's good.
It's really
because
fucking
I know I saw a few people.
I was worried about it. Like with the state of it last year, I thought even with this extra year that it would come out like a sack of shite. But the 343 have properly pulled it out. Like it's deserving of the praise.
They had
it's
to.
getting. It's
There's
so good.
no way that Microsoft was
They
going to
wouldn't
let
have got
that
away
fail.
with another bad one. Yeah.
There's no way. They had to get that resolved.
And bear in mind, it's been 7 years since Halo 5.
Wow. That's mad
No,
to think.
really?
Yeah.
That's mad to think. I remember the trailers for that, and everyone's like, "Not my Master Chief."
Well, trust me, Oodles. This is your Master Chief.
I like him.
He's back to the slightly quippy, slightly stoic version of himself from the first game.
He always reminded me of Sam Fisher in a weird way. That stoic, like Michael Ironside style.
Super gravelly voice.
Yeah, I like it.
So is this the Force Awakens of Halo?
Kind of, yeah. And like I say, it does have a lot of Halo Infinite vibes. And like Zeta Halo, where you're playing, apart from these kind of like hexagonal kind of building blocks of the planet that you can see because it's wrecked, it has a lot of vibes of the original Halo ring.
That's cool. I do like the lore in Halo. I think it's nice. I mean, we got that trailer of the Halo TV show, didn't we? And
that looks excellent.
They seem to have got the aesthetics correct. I just hope that it's just not an army program. Do you know what I mean? I want get into that weird alien religion stuff.
Weird lore, yeah.
I like that.
The last thing I'll say about it is like, it nails that. So, do you remember the first time you played like Fallout 3 and you walk out the vault and you see like the world in front of you?
Yeah, the light. It takes a while to...
Yeah.
Oh,
so Halo Infinite has one of those moments because when you first get onto Zeta Halo, you basically go inside the Halo first. You do like a linear mission and get a boss fight. And then once you've done the boss fight, you get out and this massive door opens. And you see this kind of like base in front of you, and then you see the ring curving up in front of you, and it's just like, oh, that's good.
That'll always
the
be
music
a great
music
visual.
hits right. It's so good.
Like the novel Ringworld and stuff like that. It's always a great visual.
Which it ripped off.
Yeah, absolutely. But we know that. But it's such a great visual thing. It's like, imagine just the perimeter of a planet. That's what we've got here, guys, and it's so cool. Like, I've always found it fascinating. I'm glad it's good because there were people saying like, I saw it on a lot of Twitter and stuff like that. They're like, I hope it's shit. Why? Why do you hope something's shit?
I was gonna, did you not see Kotaku put out this massive article saying, "Oh, the first 2 hours of Halo Infinite is boring as shit. Why would we want to play this?"
Fuck Kotaku. I know you're listening Kotaku as well. Fuck you, weirdos. Stop being weird.
You website you.
It's so easy to like something than it is to dislike it. Yeah, fuck it. Halo's good, man. Even though I haven't played half of the games, I've played the meat.
I'm the same.
I just haven't eaten the veg.
Well, I think bear in mind how, like, I know you're not a shooter guy, Oodles, but when you do eventually get another Xbox, you will enjoy the fuck out of it.
I know I will. I know, like I love Titanfall 2, and people say, "Oh, it's the best first-person shooter." It didn't feel like a first-person shooter to me. It felt like a narrative adventure, and that's I won't be playing Halo multiplayer. I can't. My brain won't let me. But the campaign, I'm all about that shit. So yeah, that's really good, and thank you for your lovely Nexus, everybody. Yeah, so let's get on with the main topic at hand. Biggie, what the fuck are we talking about this week?
This week's topic is Rose Tinted Glasses. Is there something that we look upon favourably, knowing full well it's those rosy specks that make us see it that way? Or is there something other people look at that we... sorry, say that bit again. Or is there something other people look at like, oh, what is wrong with me? Or is there something other people look at like that and we just don't know why? Fucking hell.
You do realise with you going, fucking hell, you know, we have to keep in your fluffs there. So that people know
it's
that.
Perfectly
the
fine.
listeners like that. They want us to be human. We're human, guys. We're not the heroes you think we are.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, you're a hero.
I have to edit this shit.
You're a hero.
I need a fucking medal.
So the person I've heard least of in the past 20 minutes is Candy. So go.
Starting with me, are you? Well, I've got a bit of a confession to make, and I did tell you this before we started recording. Until about 20 minutes before we started, I was going to go with the Breakfast Club. But I started watching the Breakfast Club. Not the Breastfast.
The Breast
The Breast Club.
Oh, I would be signing up for that one.
I started watching the Breakfast Club this afternoon. I realised it's actually quite good.
It's good, isn't it?
It is really good. Like I watched it before and I thought it was boring.
No,
and I
it's
just
not.
wanted
It's
to remind
good.
myself it's not. It's really good. So on the fly, I've decided to go with Titanic.
Wow.
So, excuse me if we're going to be winging this.
Spoiler
Well,
alert,
segue.
everybody, we're going to reveal what happens in the Titanic.
I hope it works out for him. But yeah, I mean, when it came out, it was deemed to be brilliant. And I think what makes it different. The subject we did before was Aged Like Milk, and I think the difference that I'm seeing between that is things have come to, society has changed in a way that we deem things that were acceptable before as unacceptable now. And I think the problem with Titanic it's nothing like that. It's just we didn't realise how shite it was in the first place.
We were all
I
blind.
did. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, and you are the resident sailor.
Maybe that's why.
Scared him.
No, not at all.
My main gripe is that there's just so many true stories that actually occurred during the Titanic they could have addressed, and yet they
But
focused on this
instead,
fucking
yeah.
cheesy love story. Like, no one falls in love. In
They
3
say love
days.
story. It's infidelity. That's what it is.
Shagging.
Are we going to say infidelity? Well, yeah, I guess that.
She was
technically, yeah.
engaged to another man.
Yeah.
Tat.
But the thing, I mean, if she was so in love with Jack, she could have moved over and let him on the cupboard door. There's plenty of space. And for example, some of the true stories that actually happened on the Titanic. So, J.G. Astor, who was the richest man aboard the Titanic and one of the richest men in the world, he pushed his pregnant wife through a window so she could safely get to a lifeboat while he stayed aboard, and he went down with the ship.
What a guy.
I
Yeah.
hope the window was open.
I didn't specify. That's a very good point, actually.
I mean, bigger. They didn't have double glazing back then, so it would have been easy. Wow.
Fucking hell, Biggie.
It was an act of heroism, mate. Not fucking get out of the window now. I'm done with you.
Oh, it set me off that one. Fucking hell, I did not expect that.
So Margaret Brown, who was actually in the film, the in my notes I've written the unskinnable Molly Brown, but it's the unsinkable Molly Brown.
Unskinnable.
She was never actually supposed to be aboard. The only reason she was on there is because she was travelling from Egypt. She got word that her grandson was ill, so she tried to get to
Is
America.
that the Kathy Bates character?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
The one that kind of befriends Jack.
Who should have been the main character in this show, in that film,
Well,
sorry.
According to her actual history, yeah.
Yeah.
So she was just trying to get back to America as quickly as she could. Isidore and Ida Strauss, who were the only owners of Macy's at the time, that were about to board were aboard the Titanic when it went down.
Mm.
And there was actually space for Ida on the lifeboat. She refused to get on board, stating, "We've lived together so many years. Where you go, I go." So yeah, they're all far more interesting than the story than what James Cameron gave us. Instead of choosing cheesy love story and ignoring the true tales that were actually interesting. But that aside, the CGI was bad then. And it's
Jurassic
worse
Park looks
now.
way better.
And that came out
Years before.
ages after Jurassic Park. But
Yeah.
there's one scene where it's kind of the camera angle's sweeping down over the Titanic just to give you sort of a scale, I think, of how big it was. And you see the people, the little ants moving about on deck, and it's just, I don't think they've put any kind of textures or anything on them. The shadows don't even line up.
It looks too clean, doesn't it? The CGI. Everything looks
Yeah.
too like squeak. They should have put a little bit of a filter on it or something like that. I don't know. Just
There's that opening, like, kind of establishing shot of the Titanic itself when it's in dock, like when everyone's
with the
boarding it.
orange background and
Yeah, it's got this kind of orange background and a sepia
Looks
filter over
fucking
the
shit.
top of it, and
Yeah.
none of it looks. It's got that thing that I think a lot of 90s CGI had, where the people that are on the docks are obviously there for scale.
Yeah.
But you're right, kind of. They look too perfect almost, like they're moving in such a way that's really not human. Because it reminds me of like when Disney started doing it for, like, I think the first one they did it for was like Hunchback of Notre Dame, when Quasimodo looks out over the cathedral and like all the crowd below him, that's all CGI.
Yes.
And none of it moves in a realistic way.
It's awful.
And it's the same with like those opening shots in Titanic. It's it's not good.
Yeah.
It's also not a good. As you're right, it's not a good film.
It's terrible. Oh, Rose has a moving like beauty spot as well. Starts off one side, ends up on the other halfway through the film as well.
That's
Amazing.
probably they just flipped the camera, didn't they?
Oh, I'm sure that's what
Yeah,
it was, but they could have paid attention to that. I mean,
Is that a
the massive
superpower?
budget it had.
There is I think it's one of the Naked Guns with that woman as a moving beauty spot.
No, it's
Robin-
It's
Robin
Robin
Hood,
in
that's it. It
tights.
just keeps moving everywhere.
That's exactly what happened. But I think it just tried too hard to be a blockbuster, and that's probably a victim of the time it was released. It's certainly partially to blame. Just,
It's a big Jimmy Cameron joint, though, isn't it? He's like,
Jimmy C.
yeah, he's like bigging it up. This is the new Terminator 2. Is it? Do you know what I mean? Is it?
Yeah.
The thing is, it's also like a 3-hour film when it really didn't need to be. We just wanted to see the boot sing.
And I believe the song surpassed it in sales as well at a certain point because it was still selling years and years and
I was
years.
going to mention the song.
And kept Celine Dion fed for decades.
I can't really think of any other Celine Dion songs either now, just that one. Apart from the one that was in Deadpool, which was absolutely ripping the piss out of herself.
Yeah.
Was it When You Touch Me Like This? That one. That's Celine Dion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, keep singing, baby.
Oh,
Beautiful,
no,
that.
that's,
Look.
I'm not singing Celine Dion. You've heard my voice. I can't hit those high notes. I look terrible in the dress.
Yeah, I think you're forgetting the main thing about Titanic, Candy. I don't know about your age range, but especially for me, it was the film we could watch at school that had boobies in it,
I think James Cameron
which was a
actually
big deal
drew-
for me back then.
Yeah, there were tits, but I think James Cameron actually drew that. I'm gonna have
he's
to.
an artist, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it was actually him. So it was actually his hands and stuff.
That's very problematic if he's the one that drew that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Kate,
Really
Kate,
problematic.
if you just come to my trailer, we'll practice in there. You know what I mean?
Oh, I didn't
Alright.
get that one right. Let's do it again. Try a different angle. Just
Yeah, like for something like that, you would commission a professional artist who would treat Kate Winslet
There
with
is
respect, or not even need Kate Winslet.
There is that meme that Kate Winslet always gets her boobs out in every film she's in. It's like,
I mean, she has lovely
It's happened-
boobs.
It's great boobs, so
It's happened on several occasions.
yeah, get them out, Kate. Come on.
Get the Winslets out.
It's not that kind of film. Get them out. The Winslets.
Nice Winslets.
Get the puppies out. But yeah, I remember at school, like, I weren't
That's a
warned
tiny
about this.
DiCaprio.
That's
you've
the
got
first
there.
time I saw it. That's the first time I saw it. I think it was like in 3 different classes in like a space of a week or something like that. I weren't forewarned that there was boobs in this, and my mind was blown. I'm like, oh my God. I'm watching.
Did you have your coat with you? Did you have to put your coat over? your
Yeah, I was like, what is this? I was like 13 or something. I'm like, what? Boobs at school? It was a big moment for me. I still think film's fucking terrible. I think it's too long, and we all.
But there's a 2-minute sequence you enjoy.
Yeah, we all knew what was going to happen at the end. That's what I found like.
Going back to your original comment that you said earlier was that it was one of the weirdest things I've seen is having that movie on a cruise ship is about the same as having an airplane
Snakes on a
disaster
plane.
movie on a plane because
hate it when
it's
that
still quite
happens.
unnerving
Yeah.
to actually see a ship like that sink. Yes, I know it hits an iceberg.
I'd love to see what a
fires.
P&O ferry does at an iceberg. I'm pretty sure it just goes straight through it.
I was going to say, isn't a cruise ship like 16 times the size of the Titanic?
Just destroy it, mate.
Like you could fit several Titanics inside your average
Fucking
cruise ship.
Pride of Calais just goes bulldozing straight through it.
Well,
Doesn't
there's
even
that
blink.
Mythbusters thing where they said the Titanic would have survived if it just went straight through the iceberg. I'm like, they're pretty big. Those icebergs, they're pretty savage, aren't
I think
they?
it's if it hit it face on, it would have only flooded the one compartment, but because
Yeah.
they tried
Only
to
the guys
swipe
at
it
the
and it
bottom
scraped the
just
whole
putting
way
the
down.
coal into it.
Mm.
Only
Yeah.
the poor slaves underneath, bless them.
Well, no, yeah. If it hit at the front, is it the bow of the,
Yeah,
the front
I
of the
don't-
ship?
I don't
thingy?
know.
I can't remember. Yeah, if it hit on the bow, it would have crushed in the front, and it would have maybe the first 2 things, and it would have been like tilting slightly down forward.
Yeah.
But because it basically sideswiped the
Iceberg,
the iceberg,
right ahead.
it tore into basically all of the chambers, which because the way they were designed to like stop it sinking, by tearing into all of them, it made a huge ballast on the side, which is what pulled it down.
The
Well,
problem
there's
with
all the rumours
sorry.
that it was switched out as well, wasn't it? There was like apparently a huge fire on the actual Titanic, and they switched it for the Carpathia, I think it was called.
yeah, which is just like a
Um,
sister ship, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, and it was compromised. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was some conspiracy about that anyway. But yeah, no, going back to the film, I just think it was everyone got a little bit swept up in because Leo DiCaprio, I think, had come right off
Oh,
Romeo
he
and
was
Juliet.
gorgeous. He was,
He was gorgeous.
he was gorgeous.
But yeah, I think everyone got a bit, myself included, by the way. I saw it about 4 times in the cinema.
Oh, did you have a poster of Leo on your bedroom wall?
I had many.
I'm the king of the world.
You saw it 4 times in the cinema.
Oh, and I cried every time.
And they said I was mad for
Wow.
watching Justice League 4 times.
I think I'm agreeing there, Rules. I think you're off the hook for that one. 4
Justice
times
League's
watching
better than
Titanic at the
Titanic.
cinema.
Telling
Yeah,
you
but
now.
but bear in mind, I was a teenage girl once. So
I was a teenage
me and
girl
many
once.
teenage girls went to see it multiple times.
That's true.
But yeah.
There was nothing on the telly, was there?
Not so much, no. Not not on our 4 channels back on the day.
No, you won't know this, young'uns. But yeah, I think Rose Tinted Glasses is because I don't care whatever. If you're in a group of people, there's always that one person that's like, "Oh, I love the Titanic. It's my favourite film."
Well, people still watch
and you'll
it
say,
every
you'll
Christmas.
say why, and they'll go,
It's not a Christmas
I know, but-
film. Why would you watch something so unrelentingly depressing at
cold.
the end as a Christmas film?
"Oh." But people,
I can't wait to see a lot of people drown tonight.
if you find somebody, that likes it, and you ask them why, they'll just go, I love it when they're dancing and stuff. And it's like, fuck, that's barely the film. The film is the fucking hour and a half ending.
I think there's 2 camps of people that watch Titanic, and I think there's the first camp that turn it off
Before the ship hits.
as soon as it hits.
Yeah.
And then you've got everyone else that starts playing it from there. Because it could be 2 separate movies.
Yeah.
Also, wasn't there like massive character assassination on some of the crew in the ship? Like there was that lad that was like shooting people trying to get to the boats, and apparently that was just absolutely.
Yeah.
He was like super brave in real life, and
I think it was...
like helping women and children onto the boats.
Yeah, I think it was when... I don't know what his actual... the first officer, I think, it was shown that he killed himself when actually
Andrews.
he was... I think so, yeah. But he actually apparently like shot a gun into the air to try and regain control of people.
Yeah.
to get
I've
to
got
the
a
boat.
fucking gun. Give me a second, I'll reload it.
And the captain as well. I think he's shown as locking himself in his.
Well, the
in
captain
his
always
in
goes
the-
down with the ship, don't they? They're supposed to.
Yeah, but it
Well, no,
depicts him
but
as
the
sort of
film- the
losing
film-
control. Where actually,
Yeah, the film shows him as quite incompetent. in
Yeah,
the
that's
crisis.
Yeah.
true. That's true.
I mean, he was a very experienced captain, and who had dealt with like ships like colliding and stuff like that in his career.
Yeah, and apparently he was out amongst everyone trying to get everyone, even sort of on the lower decks, trying to get everyone out until like.
You
keep
can
people
imagine the
informed.
bravery in real life. I bet it was a lot less dramatized. I bet it was just like people like, let's get these women and kids out of here for fuck's sake. We'll do whatever we can. You've been in the Boer War. You don't need rescuing. That kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I expect there
you've
was a
lived
lot of
life.
people that didn't know that it was going to sink as well. Like
wouldn't have
I'm
told
sure
them.
they probably thought they were just sort of stranded or something.
There's no
'cause-
tannoy.
right. But yeah, Titanic.
Have you seen Titanic 2?
Still not as bad as Speed 2, though.
Titanic 2.
Yes, I've seen Titanic 2.
So they do the unthinkable. They do they recreate the ship, don't they? Called the Titanic 2, and they guess what happens?
It's a fucking
It's an
iceberg.
iceberg. You'd think they'd learn.
They were so arrogant, they didn't learn. They didn't think about
They flew
icebergs.
too close to the sun. Oh yeah, good choice.
Global warming, we're supposed to sort this out.
Yeah, I think Titanic 2 is set in the modern day for when it was.
No, it's set kind of like near future.
Yeah, that's
like
it.
It's not like super sci-fi. It's
fucking
like
stupid.
2020.
I think it's an asylum film, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Very much so.
Yeah, I've only seen Titanic once. That's enough for me.
Yeah. Speed 2 Cruise Control is the better of the two.
Cruise control.
Shockingly enough, it is.
Under Siege 2, is that the one on the boat?
No, Speed 2's on the boat as well because it's called Cruise Control.
Yeah, but there's another.
And Under Siege 1's on the boat, isn't it?
whichever one. Yeah.
Yes.
The Tommy Lee Jones one.
Do you know they're remaking Under Siege?
Yeah, why?
What, with
Why?
Mr. Jiu-Jitsu, what's his name? Judo himself? What's his name?
Aikido, sir.
Aikido. What's his teeth? Seagal.
Steven Seagal.
He's about 900 years old.
I don't know. Stig was talking about it on What the Fuck Do You Want this week, and it just as soon as he said Under Siege, I went, oh yeah, they're making another one of that.
Wow. Idiots. Cool. Let's move on to Biggie.
Well, yeah, I had a real issue with this topic, trying to think something that could fit into the remit, and then I suddenly thought of something that I know Gadget's going to enjoy talking about as well. I stuck with my original choice, and it's the Goonies.
I'm not allowed to talk about this one. Stig said he'd be very upset with me if I talked about it.
But I still fondly like this movie. I have a lot of love for it from when I first saw it when I was a kid. It takes me back to those times when I was a kid. It's a great film in its own way. It came out in 1985. Had that sort of interesting cast of people that are still acting today, like Josh Brolin, Corey Feldman in there.
He's
Sean
not acting
Astin.
today.
Sean Astin, a lot of people
Yeah. Sam.
forget was went on to bigger things. But there's some issues with this movie, thinking about it now, and I don't even know if it would apply or kids would enjoy it seeing it now. I think if you saw it back in the day, you'd have these fond memories, but I think there's an issue looking back at this movie now, whether you'd still enjoy it. And I think it's a great cinematic experience. It's got that adventure. Steven Spielberg was the producer on it. Richard Donner directed it. It was written by Chris Columbus. There's quite a big team behind it. And it was a fun movie. It made a lot of money. But there are some issues. I'm just going to go and pick out a few of these. The 80s representation of the police is a pretty tired trope, making them utterly incompetent, particularly at the beginning when they free the family from the police station. The Fratellis, and he's pouring petrol outside the police station like no one spotted that.
Yeah.
The representation of other nationals such as Mexicans and Asians isn't very PC for today.
What do you mean, like Data?
Well, yeah, whether it's poking fun at the Mexican maid or Data's script, poking fun not only at his accent, but the fact that his character is only the way he is because he's a nerdy Asian. It's difficult. The Fratellis are quite bad because they're that typical, if they're Italian, they're linked to the mafiosa. Sloth, portrayed as a monster when he's clearly suffering from brain damage due to horrific abuse by his mother.
Which they do say in the film.
Which they refer to in the... I think he was dropped in acid.
Yep.
And then he's been chained up. So there's some serious child abuse that's sort of linked.
He's got mental illness, he's got physical disabilities, and he's also a brute.
Yep. But then it moves on to the cliche characters as well. So the one that I related to was the fat kid who couldn't stop eating.
Chunk.
You got the rich kid bully and his lackeys. You've got the sort of jockey older brother, the idealistic kid brother, the monster with the heart of gold, which is obviously Sloth, the tough girl with a softer side, the popular girl who's tougher than she looks, the smart Asian kid. I mean, the list goes on. So yeah, it's a very cliche group of people all in this movie together. The character Mikey, he nearly ODs on his inhaler throughout the movies, his asthma. But I think he knocks it back something like 10, 11 times throughout the movie.
But at the end, he just decides he doesn't have asthma anymore. He chucks it away.
Yeah,
I don't need
this anymore.
If you need it like 10 or 12 times in a 24-hour period, you definitely need to keep that inhaler with you.
You're supposed to only have it to stop yourself having an asthma attack.
Not for every instant we're a bit concerned. And the kids were, yes, they were sort of quite young. It's difficult when kids don't have a lot of acting experience, but I think Richard Donner sort of gave them sort of a bit of free rein at times, and they sort of scream and shout over each other. It's a bit intense at times. But I love this movie a lot. I wanted to be one of those kids when I first saw it. I thought, what an adventure to go on with that treasure map, looking for One-Eyed Willie's treasure. And it looked like a fantastic movie, trying to save their little remote town as well in America. It was a great fun movie.
I think they were getting evicted, weren't they, or something?
Yeah, it was foreclosure being served. But I think Natty Cat summed this up quite well with something that she sent through. And she said here, she wanted to talk about her film The Road Trip, the original with Tom Green in it. She says, I fucking love that movie. I watched it when I was like 12 and thought it was so fucking funny. Flash forward 15 years later, and it's New Year's Day, and have mates over, all with hangovers. And we decided to watch it, and because she had some time off over Christmas, and she went, "Holy shit, it's not good at all." Still love it though. So it is that kind of thing where you can watch it, enjoy it, but I still think when my daughter's old enough to watch the Goonies, would she still relate to half the things that's happening in that movie? Probably not. I just think, will she enjoy the adventure side of it? I don't know. Maybe
there's a lot of the film that the data, especially stuff like the technology they're using,
Yep.
like stuff like Walkmans and that kind of thing. And I swear one of them's got like a voice recorder with them or something. I
It's Home Alone 2.
But no. I'm not thinking about the thing in Home Alone 2, but like all the stuff that Data has.
Yeah,
all the
there's
various
little booby
gadgets that
traps
he
and
has.
stuff, all these little devices. And
Yeah,
that.
there's all the stuff that Data, and I don't think it's a film that I think many children now would relate to that well. This was one of my first ideas to talk about for this thing, but then I realized I would probably just rant about it mostly because I didn't see the film until I was an adult. Never saw it.
You see
as
it
a
last
kid.
year?
I
I
didn't see
remember
it
you
till I was-
saying.
No, I was like 27 when I saw it.
Oh.
It was like one of my ex-wife's favorite films, and so she convinced me to eventually watch it. And like she was like loving it throughout because she watched it as a kid and she had all this nostalgia for
Exactly.
it. And I watched it just like, is that it?
Mm.
Like I just really didn't like it. Like I don't dislike it. It's just like it might be one of the most meh films for me. Like I just really have no connection to it, and I think it's super problematic in places.
Yeah, and I think it is a movie of its time, without a doubt. It was from the 80s. There was that vibe around everything that happens in that movie is set in that time frame. There's kids on BMXs, and all, it's got that sort of, I remember those days. But I think now, watching it now, it's a different experience. So I loved Goonies. I was a big fan. I wanted to be one of those kids when I was younger. But I just think now, looking back, I'm not sure it's the movie that everyone thinks it is.
Going back to what you said about stereotypes is, it's a stereotype to us now, but I wonder if when it first came out in the 80s, it wasn't so much. Which
Might
is
be cutting edge.
Yeah, maybe not cutting edge, but we didn't see it quite so much as a
No, exactly.
stereotype.
Yeah, you're right. I totally agree with that. I think people didn't pick up on it when it was reviewed. Everyone said, "What a great movie! Go and see it. Your kids will love it." It's a great adventure, and Spielberg and Donner at their best. I'm sure the reviews were glowing. No one picked up on that stuff. But like you say, with hindsight now, maybe it wasn't quite right.
So I've got notes. I knew you were going to talk about Goonies, so I did an experiment this afternoon. I got my children to watch it.
This is interesting.
I've got 3 notes of
Yeah.
contention. First note: why didn't they call the mum on the mobile phones? So yeah, it is a thing of its time. Second note: the kissing. when
Fair
she
enough.
kisses that little kid, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She's way older than him. Second one: look at him, he's big and cute. Talking about sloth.
Yeah.
So I think it shows that like nowadays, like my kids have been raised to like be more less judgmental and more like, look at him. Do you know what I mean? He's friendly rather than he's like fucking John Merrick. He's a fucking elephant man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
rather than pointing a finger.
Yeah, but wasn't the audience intention with Sloth was for people to think like, look at him, he's nice, like the whole point of that is for the audience to sympathise.
Yeah, but straight
with him.
away,
the
it's
initial
quite
introduction,
scary.
Chunk is absolutely frightened of him.
But my kids loved him straight away. They're like, oh, wow, look at him. He's brilliant. And I went, look at him. He's super strong. They're like, wow, he's cool. And that's really all they wanted to talk about. They didn't like it.
Oh, really? They didn't like it?
No.
So kind of backing up my idea that modern kids wouldn't have anything to do with it.
They just
really.
don't understand. They didn't understand, like, my son, who's the eldest of the two, he's a bit older. And he was just like, why didn't they just leave and go home? I was like, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like, why would kids have to make sure their house wasn't getting repossessed? Why didn't the parents like sort the finances better? Do you know what I mean? I'm one to talk. I'm always skint, but I'm not in foreclosure. Do you know what I mean? I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
So why is it left out? I know it's one of them things. It's a romp, isn't it? It's a little childish romp, but it's it is of its time, but I still think it's got merit as a film. Like I first saw Goonies as a teenager, not as a kid, and I liked it, and I still do like it. I think it's one of those. It reminds me of films like The Burbs and Big and Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. They're problematic as fuck. But this,
Temple of Doom, especially.
Temple of Doom, fucking hell, that needs to be recut. But
no, it needs to be.
But there's still something. There's still a little bit of magic, and it's that Spielberg-esque, that magic, isn't it? That Richard Donner, there's magic
Which I think
still there.
I think that's what keeps it.
And without that, we'd
alive,
have no.
The fact it's still a good movie.
Like my daughter
It
said.
just has issues.
My daughter said it reminded her of Stranger Things, and I said, "Well, that's kind of what they're taking it from."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Why does your daughter watch Stranger Things?
they don't watch it; they just know all about it because of YouTube, mate. They've never watched Stranger Things. I swear.
Stranger Things is basically an updated version of the Goonies in its own way, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
But it's for adults, isn't it? It's mainly for people that lived those decades.
Yeah. And I actually like Stranger
I
Things.
do. I wouldn't let my fucking kids
Not
watch
so
it.
sure about the last
Horrifying. Some horrendous stuff in Stranger Things. But yeah, it's like my kids are.
Funny enough, Sean Astin's in that as well.
Yeah, my kids are obsessed with it. With the kids, but they've never watched it. They see it on YouTube clips and like, "Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and we're going to talk about the top 10 scary monsters in films." And
yeah, Pip's nephew does that. He's not watched like it or like any horror films,
Yeah.
but he's watched the kill montages on YouTube.
yeah, they're obsessed
He's
with
watched
them.
like all the worst bits of it.
Yeah, they're obsessed with them, but they don't understand the nuances of them.
You can get Funko Pop It characters
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, I mean,
Yeah,
they're around.
like I remember
Yeah.
a few years ago, my son giggling came into my bedroom and went, "Do you know Pennywise the Clown?" I'm like, "Yes, I've read the novels, son." He's like, "He's a spider, really? He's a spider." I'm like, "Oh, I know." You know what I mean? Don't you have to tell me, pal? But yeah, kids are
Yeah. I
fucking
love the
weirdos.
Goonies, but I think maybe when I was a kid, perhaps.
I hope
knows, we'll see.
I haven't seen it, and Stig obviously gave it his praise. But I hope the Ghostbusters, the new one, has got that kind of vibe to it. I do like that sense of wonder and that childish awe that they have. But yeah, Goonies is definitely rose tinted. I'm still on the camp that it's a good film, but I know it's got so many issues.
I'd teach her both ways, I have to say.
Yeah. Excellent. So, Gadget, what are you bringing to the table? I'm excited.
So I actually found this one easy because I immediately had an idea, which was the Goonies, which Biggie stole from me. So I'm taking another idea.
Oh,
Thief.
shit, I didn't know that. Sorry.
Phantom Thief.
So yeah, the one I want to think of is, so we talk about nostalgia a lot. We talk about like old video games a lot. I talk about old video games a lot. So
More than the average person.
more than anyone actually should. It's a sickness. I'm getting help for it, but I'm not cured yet. So we're talking about it again. I want you to think, okay? I want you to think back at GoldenEye on the N64. And if you no. If you don't, Joe, don't. I'm not going after GoldenEye, but I just want you to think in your mind's eye of what that game looked like when you played it.
Mm.
And then I want you to do a Google image search for what the graphics looked like.
Mm.
Look shit then, they look shit now.
But it's just comparing like what you remember it looking like in your head.
Oh, you smooth it
What
out.
it
You
actually
smooth it
looked
out.
like.
You smooth it all out in your head, don't you? And you make things look
Yeah.
real and yeah. Like I was talking to you about Soldier of Fortune.
Yeah, Soldier of Fortune and Kingpin, like these boomer shooters from the late 1990s. And it's especially bad with PC games. So PC games, like in the 90s, they went through massive technological change. You know, at the very start of the 90s, PC gaming wasn't really a thing. Like if you wanted to play video games, you had a Nintendo or you had a Commodore or you had an Amiga or shit like that. No one actually played on an IBM PC. And it wasn't until like kind of maybe 92, 93 where the kind of gaming started taking off in like the homebrew circuit.
Boom.
And then, yeah, id Software became a thing and Doom happened in 1993 and people realized, oh shit, you can actually play games on this.
Still think it's hands down best shooter on PC.
I mean, it's still one of them. It's still fun to play Doom
It's
1
so
now.
fucking good.
I mean, to be fair, I've got the entirety of Doom 1 imprinted on the back of my brain. I find Doom 2 more fun just because I'm less experienced at those maps because it's more of a challenge.
Yeah, Doom 1 can be speed running about 10 minutes, guy. It's ridiculous. I think Doom. I've got it on every console I've ever bought. Doom 1. I just think it's impeccable.
Yeah. So the Rose Tinted Glasses comes in when you think back to these old games. Like you smooth everything out in your head and you kind of like apply a lot of today's logic to things. So like if you think back to like how games controlled. So again, referring back to GoldenEye, which I know is not a PC game, but this is just the best example I've got for it. GoldenEye is a shit to control. It's terrible to control because you've got one waggly stick that's too loose for its own good, and you're kind of vaguely turning Bond in the direction of an enemy, and the computer's doing the rest of it for you. But when you look at like kind of PC games or early console games, a lot of the things that we take for granted now weren't a thing. So like for first-person shooters, mouse aim and WASD control.
Yeah.
That wasn't default on games till like 97. I think Quake was the first game that had it, but it wasn't turned on by... Mouse look wasn't turned on by default.
I remember playing Doom and not using a mouse at all.
No, and you use the arrow keys to move around. Arrow keys to move around. I think it's A and D to strafe, and then space to shoot and interact with things.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Try playing that now.
No,
it's not fun.
No,
it's not pleasant in the slightest.
Give me that analog, baby.
So, do you know what the first console game was to have like dual stick analog? The first person shooter to have dual stick analog control was
Medal of Honor, something like that.
Nope.
Don't know.
Alien Resurrection on the PS1.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, and then it turned into third person when you climbed ladders and opened doors and stuff. I remember that.
Yeah.
It was
that
shit.
Was the first one. That was the first one to use the left stick to move and the right stick to aim.
It was shit.
Before that, yeah, it was a terrible game, and it was actually people in reviews marked it down for having that control scheme. Said it's the worst thing.
This
to
will
ever
never
happen.
catch on.
Yeah.
Who needs to control a game well?
Yeah, but before that, like controls in first-person shooters on console and on PC, unless you use a mouse and keyboard, were just forward, back, turn. Like you didn't have much of a strafe unless it was a game like Doom, which was really fast. You were really limited on controls, but you think about it now, you think that control scheme on a modern game console is so ingrained in your head.
I remember, fast forwarding a little bit to Time Splitters, that had such a weird control configuration to it. I was
going to mention Time Splitters.
I don't think, I can't remember what it is now off the top of my head, but I remember feeling this is weird.
It took a little while to get used to.
I don't think you used the shoulder buttons to shoot.
No, it was like the X button, I think.
Something, I know it was odd. Especially because it came out after Halo.
So Time Splitters control was left stick to run.
As we know.
Yeah, right stick to turn and look up and down. What was it? So the directional buttons to like change your weapon and shit like that. No, it was L2 to aim and R2 to primary fire.
Oh, so what am I thinking of then? Because that's pretty normal.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're thinking of.
Maybe it just blew my mind.
I remember it.
Maybe that was the first time
I'd
I'd played a game that used that. Maybe I'm getting confused. But I remember Time Splitters having an odd control scheme.
Maybe it's getting used to that. You're right.
Maybe it was the first one I played like that.
Having to aim.
Yeah.
That way.
I mean, the thing is, there were a lot of first-person shooters at the time which did have really odd control schemes. I
just remember it vividly being Time Splitters and on a multi-tap just thinking, I can't do this. I can't do this. It might have been that, and I still can't do that.
But then you think back, like in-game graphics, generally speaking, even if they were amazing at the time, they actually probably weren't as good as they could have been.
No.
And you get that in spades when the one I always think back to is Final Fantasy VII, because you've got the exploration view where you've got these little chibi fucking
no hand
model
things.
Yeah. You've got the battle screen where you've got a bit more detail and they actually look like human beings with spiky hair. And then you have the cutscenes where you have a mix of the two. But the cutscenes look gorgeous sometimes. Sometimes they look terrible.
Yep.
And you think back in 1997, this thing was like the best thing in the world. It looked so beautiful. And then you look back at it now and you just think, oh, it's not very nice, is it?
The only thing in my opinion,
quite unpleasant in places.
And I'm absolute biased to it. I think 16-bit graphics have always looked better than 32-bit polyphonic polygonal graphics. Yeah. I think they just do.
I think most people would agree, because if you look at a lot of the early PlayStation stuff and still a lot of the PC stuff of that era when they're kind of exploring 3D stuff, it doesn't look good.
I remember
even at the time it didn't look good.
I got Symphony of the Night and Final Fantasy VII in the same couple of months.
Yeah.
And I was like, Symphony of the Night is a stunning game today.
I mean, I'm replaying Symphony of the Night on my PS5 in a minute. It's still gorgeous.
Yeah, and Final Fantasy VII looks like fucking garbage. I thought it did then, because I'd just come off Final Fantasy VI, which is a masterpiece in visuals and everything.
Yeah.
And that does look shit, but it plays cool. You know what I mean? At least it's a good game.
Even the tank control for Resident Evil 1.
I can't do that anymore. I just can't do
like
it.
That, and then they turn around and do that whole tank thing. It's so weird watching them do that now.
Well, I had that with Tortured Souls.
It ruins it, doesn't it?
You can play it with tank controls, or you can just play it with kind of relative 3D positional controls.
But that don't work with still images, does it?
Yeah.
The fixed camera angles.
I tried it with tank controls, and I remembered these aren't good.
No.
These were never good. It was the best thing you could do at the time, but they were never good.
I remember Shinji Mikami said that tank controls was a choice because they could have done it a bit more like 3D, but he said it was a choice for suspense. I'm like, was it really? Or was it just to slow the game down because it's a 4-hour game?
But yeah, it's just so like the best way to experience this, if you just think of any game that you loved as a kid or loved in the 90s, especially like the mid to late 90s when things started to become 3D, and then do a Google image search of it, your mind's eye, you will be looking at that with rose tinted glasses because it will look in your mind a lot better.
Yeah. People don't like Go, they like Banjo Kazooie and that.
A lot of the whole thing with all these remakes and remasters that come out is a lot of the times that when they're done well, they're bringing it up to what you remember the game being like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that's where Final Fantasy VII is going to struggle, actually, the remaster, because even like story-wise, people are looking back at that with
game,
Rose,
isn't it?
Yeah, but they're looking back with Rose Tinted Glasses, and I don't think it can even compete with itself.
Well, that's why they did Final Fantasy 15 as a semi-open world game, because it means it doesn't have to render too much constantly. It's just a lot of emptiness surrounded by 4 towns. And like Final Fantasy VII's not that kind of game.
No. And the thing is, this is not me getting down. There are some games, especially from the 90s, that I think still hold up in every way, even with the random little annoyances. Like Metal Gear Solid, I think, is still a perfect game for what it is.
Yeah, because it's mainly a film, isn't it?
It's mainly a film. I mean, granted, they don't have eyes or mouths, but it doesn't matter because the way the game is presented perfectly works with what it gives, what they had at the time. Same with the original Silent Hill, despite the terrible dialogue.
Oh god, yeah.
I think the terrible dialogue makes it.
I think Silent Hill's aged way better than Resident Evil 1.
Oh, absolutely,
way better.
The original Deus Ex. Now, the original Deus Ex, if you look at it, it looks like arse.
I adore that with every fibre of my being.
It's still like up to this point one of the best made games that you can ever play.
I think
there's just so much choice in it, so many options. Same going for System Shock 2. Like, look, if you look at a still image of it, it looks like arse, but it still has some of the best tension and the best kind of atmospherics of any game of the time. Quake 2 is still so much fun to play.
Still fast, isn't it?
Don't play Siphon Filter. Don't go back to Siphon Filter.
Yeah, like that's the way you remember Siphon Filter from the time being amazing, and then you like go back at the PlayStation Mini now or whatever, and you look back and it's just like, yeah, that's some Rose Tinted Glasses.
I literally nearly cried a little.
Siphon Filter, the guy, Gabe, he can run in strafe and he can run backwards and his head's still facing forward. So fucking weird.
He's a robot.
He's not human.
But I remember adoring that game, and if there was a platinum available for it, I probably would have done it on the PlayStation 1. I just played that game to death.
Yeah.
And then when the Mini came out, I went back to it. I was like, I can't wait to see this again. I was like, fucking hell.
Yeah, if you think about Siphon Filter, and then like when Splinter Cell, when that first came, I think Splinter Cell still holds up because it's methodical, isn't it? It's a slower paced like action game. It's
and like I said, there are some games from the time which will hold up to the Rose Tinted Glasses, which they might be a little bit crunchier looking than you remember, but they're still they are still perfectly enjoyable.
Horrendous
and they're still
load
a lot of fun. And horrendous load times, yeah. But like if there's a lot of the old PC games, all the old PlayStation games, and I would say a good chunk of the N64 games that are full Rose Tinted Glasses.
90%.
Like, I remember, because I loved Super Mario 64 when I was a kid. Never had an N64. I always used to play it at my cousin's house. And I got that 3D All-Stars collection when it came out last year. I did not love Super Mario 64. That is a bad game.
Actually, I can see a sniper red dot on your head. People are coming for you. They're coming for you. Don't slag off the N64. They love it. They've all got the Rose Tinted Glasses on. They love it.
I know Punk will have cancelled his subscription by now, won't he?
The thing is, I get it though, because I'm the same with PlayStation, which is the same generation, and I think back to like when I first got it, and I was playing Dino Crisis and Spyro the Dragon. They're fucking shit. But in my head, they played like a dream. Do you know what I mean? Everything was perfect about it. And, I don't know. Like when they brought that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater remake and they're like, we're not changing the controls and stuff. I'm like, I wish you should have because it's shit to play.
Well, actually, no, when actually, that is a really good example of the Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 remake that they put out. Okay, from a bad publisher, it was from Activision, but, we can get past that. I remember reading something, I think it was one of the reviews, it might have been Digital Foundry, and said like they did like a side-by-side comparison of Tony Hawk's 1 and this remake. And they said they're so different, but what they've done with the remake is they've remade it how you remember it.
Yeah, they've tricked you.
Because if you go back to the original Tony Hawk's, it's shit.
Oh,
it's impossible
garbage
to control. It's crap. But they've managed to get that sweet spot of like giving you the rose-tinted nostalgia of it. Because the game plays like you remember it.
Yeah,
which is actually turned out to be a way it never played in the first place.
I was chatting to a pal over a month about a game, and we were doing these YouTube quizzes that we do and stuff, and a game flashed up, and I was like, "Oh, it's Shadow of the Colossus." Turns out it wasn't. It was the HD the new version, the remaster, the remake. I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
I thought that's what the original looked like. No, I didn't. It didn't. Not at all. It's like when you see the Resident Evil HD version. You know, the original, when the remastered it, compared to the GameCube original, it's like, yeah, it's better, but then you see the HD version, and you're like, that's how my head remembers it.
Exactly.
It's weird.
It's just the passage of time. We all remember these things differently. We all remember these things, like, especially when they were these impactful things, when technology was still new and things were still in, like basic, like characters being made of 15 polygons was still impressive to us at the days when now like characters have 15 polygons per eyelash.
Wasn't Tony Hawk's when you need like an extra hand to do some of the maneuvers?
Oh yeah, it got ridiculous.
Hold down L1 plus left, right, and triangle.
Evolution Skateboard were a bit troubling like that.
Yeah. Tony Hawk's was really simple because you all the tricks you did off you jump was your X, and then you had the other three face buttons were like you hold them to do various moves.
Yeah, because on Tony Hawk's you just held X and you just completely sped up. It weren't like Skate where you have to keep your momentum going.
Yeah, after Tony Hawk's came out, there were a load of cheaply made skating games that came out for the PS1 that all had these really complicated move systems to them. And they weren't like the guys Neversoft who were behind the original Tony Hawk's game. They knew how to make a game that was impressive to play because it's naturally cartoon. Like, no skateboarder can get that much air. No, it wasn't realistic in the slightest, and it just worked so well.
It was really good on that game.
yeah, it was actually. I think that was the third one. That.
Yeah, 90s games, crunchy and not as good as you remember, but somehow better.
Yeah, we didn't have disposable income back then.
No, you had to make your game last from Christmas to your birthday.
You had to rinse it.
And then from birthday till Christmas.
To rinse it, yeah.
It was a double-edged sword for me because my birthday's in March, so, I got a new game before I got bored of the Christmas game, but then I had a 9-month wait until Christmas.
Excellent. I think that's everyone done. Brilliant. All good.
Did you go?
I was trying to pretend I haven't because I'm scared of my pain.
Oh,
no.
I'm interested to see.
I've been umming and ahhing about this. If you're listening, sit down. Rose Tinted Glasses. I want to talk about VR. Look at that eyebrow. I've just got the people's eyebrow then. So, the average price of a VR unit is £250. Not many killer apps yet. Most games are either experiences or shooters. Early adopters justifying a purchase that they pretend to use weekly, which fundamentally is a fucking lie. Winning VR game this year was a 15-year-old Resident Evil 4. Do you know what I mean? I think VR is a rose-tinted glasses thing. Now, I want to bear in mind, I've tried VR because Kurt loaned me one for a long period of time, and I enjoyed VR. I enjoyed VR. I don't think it's as good as people make it. I believe it's firmly early adopters love to make out that they haven't got buyer's remorse. That's what I think it is mainly. That's
okay. So
here we go.
What is your rose tinted glasses thing about it? Because what it sounds like you're doing a different subject here.
No, I think because people are looking at it thinking this is incredible. They're looking at it through the view of being at the forefront of technology as being pioneers, when it's in my opinion it's just not that. It's just a gimmick. But they're not looking past the fact that there isn't that much to it. Do you know what I'm saying?
They're not over the. They're not over the hype. Is what you're saying.
It's overhyped. It's not what they make out. Like, don't get me wrong, Beat Saber's really good. I'm sure that Half-Life Alyx is really good.
It is.
I can't even think of any more. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things. I think there's because Rose Tinted Glasses can come from like nostalgia, like we're talking, but Rose Tinted Glasses can also come from like, I've got this now, I've got to love it. Do you get what I mean?
So I think I get what you mean. I think you're slightly oversimplifying some parts to VR, because I think there is more to it than just the experiences and the shooters. Like, there are people who do art in VR, for instance. There are people who are
and it's got medical applications and stuff like that. I get that.
Medical applications. Actually, so some of my favorite things I've ever seen, like videos of like someone taking an Oculus Quest to like the 98-year-old great grandma and showing them somewhere that they went as a kid. Whatever. Stupid rebranding, but yeah, they take the Quest, and like someone who's infirm and can't see something that they've missed throughout their life, or like send someone to the Sistine Chapel and stuff like that. And
that is a good point, but you're limited to which system you've got. So if you've got a PC, you're absolutely right, but if you've got a console, you don't get that.
Well, yeah,
you can say that about games in general, like there's exclusives.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So for the PlayStation, you have got what you just said: Beat Saber. You've got shooters. You've got Astro Robot or something.
Yeah.
Astrobot, sorry. But then if you take them out of the equation, what else are people using their VR headset for? They're not playing it.
They're not using it. It's in a cupboard,
waiting for the next.
Then when anyone
game to do that,
this is where I'm coming at. It's not an argument, because I'm not against VR. I like VR. I enjoyed my time with it. I'm glad I didn't pay for it, but what the argument is whenever you like knock VR, the Rose Tinted Glasses come on from people going, "Oh, I'm always on my VR." You're not. No, you're not. You go on it occasionally because it's nice to go on occasionally. It's very expensive occasionally, but that's subjective in itself. I just like, for me, I've got some things noted down. Like space is an issue for games. Like some people just don't have the space, and not all games are suited for sitting down and playing a game. It's potential. We don't know yet, but it's potentially hazardous to your eyesight. But what isn't? You know what I mean?
Some people are nauseous from it.
Yeah. Wires is another thing. Some need wires, and you could get twisted.
Not on the Quest, baby.
Yeah, not on the Quest, obviously. That's the only one I've tried. Remember? So yeah, I didn't experience wires as an issue.
To be fair, I have used wires with the Quest, because before they had the AirLink stuff, I had to link it to the PC for some games. And the wires can be very fucking annoying. I'll concede that.
Yeah. But one of the biggest points for me is that there is no killer apps. There's no, like, I know people say, "Oh, I bought a VR for Half-Life Alyx." I mean, how many times have you played it? Once. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's like, I get it. Like, I've got an iPad. I didn't need an iPad, but I've got Rose Tinted Glasses for my iPad because I've got it. And now it's making my life more fun and productive. But it's that kind of thing. But and again, highly subjective. It's not how I want to play games, because I'm a lazy little bastard. And I'm not ragging. I don't want to seem like I'm ragging it. I just think like the owners. It's like something I want to talk about in the Patreon segment. Another one I've got for my honourable mentions. It's like the owners of it are so precious of it. They've got their Rose Tinted Glasses on. Say like, this is, you don't understand. You don't own one. It's like, I know you don't play it. Do you know what I mean? I know you played it for first month solidly. Absolutely. You were going to do... I'm not just saying you, Gadget. I'm saying people in general.
I know.
You were going to use Beat Saber as a fitness regime. And yeah, you probably did. And you probably did. It did do its wonders. But you're not playing it now. No one is. Like I said, at the Game Awards, the best VR game was a 15-year-old game ported to VR. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, although to be fair, by all accounts, that port is actually excellent. Like, they've reworked the game
it looks really
well for it to work.
This is what I mean. I don't dislike VR. I think it is potentially the future, but it's probably more a slam on early adopters, if anything.
Yes, yeah. It sounds like you're more going for the early adopters. Like, to be fair, I'm in a couple of VR subreddits, and there are some
just wank each other off. Like, VR's great.
No. There are some absolutely insufferable VR evangelists.
Yeah. Like,
usually the ones that say, "Oh, I don't want to get the Quest. It's too cheap. I want to spend £1,000 on a Valve Index."
I mean, that as we said,
slightly better screens.
Like money's subjective. That might not be a lot to them people, but what it is like I've seen on like Twitter and stuff like that, people saying, "Oh, I couldn't even go back to consoles now. I've had VR." I was like, "Fuck off."
I'll tell you what. For me, I've played Sony VR. I think it's great. Everything you said. But do I feel like I'm missing out because I don't have it? No.
Yeah,
I think it's just growing, isn't it?
It's a long way off. I think what they've done with the Oculus, the latest one, I think from what Gadget says, it's much easier to wear. There's less cables. That's the direction it needs to go. Because when, I'm going to use Sony as an example, when they were promoting VR, it was like, VR, this is going to be, even the magazine's websites were all over it. Like, this is the future of gaming. It's going to change completely how we play games. And then there's just no support.
The only people crying and
themselves.
Evangelizing it are the people that have got the Rose Tinted Glasses and saying, yeah, but it is the best, it's the great. We've got Half-Life Alyx. Yeah? You know what I mean?
I think they're probably seeing the potential in it because I think it will.
There's nothing wrong with
I think
that.
it is going to really take off. I think the problem is at the moment is, one, like you said, it is bulky and it's heavy on your head, and you only have a small screen. So rather than like looking around with your eyes because you can see that, you're constantly turning your head, and until you don't have to do that, it doesn't feel real.
Yeah,
but
it's got a really reduced field of view.
Yeah, and I've got massive
Yeah.
eyes as well. I can see round corners.
No, you can.
Without turning my head.
So I think VR will always be niche, but I think it'll always be interesting. I think that's what I like about it. But I understand where you're coming from. Like, I don't think VR is going to replace traditional gaming. I don't think it's going to replace traditional apps. But I think there's a lot of really cool shit you can do with it.
Yeah, of course there is.
I also accept its limitations. Like the Quest 2 is quite underpowered. Like
It's just an
probably get
Android
to a
machine,
point
isn't it?
but it's about as powerful as a PS3.
Yeah, which is enough, isn't it? Because you can't have it too powerful yet.
which is enough. But it's going to get to the point where probably this next year, probably in 2022, the games will need something more powerful for it. Like you'll start seeing less good games coming out Quest only, and they'll need the PC to run and stuff like that. And I think that it'll never break into the mainstream properly because it's too high a cost point. And it's kind of bulky hardware. I mean, the Quest 2 weighs fuck all, but it's still annoying to put on sometimes.
But that's what puts you off, doesn't it? It's like, oh, I've got to get ready for VR. I've got to move my guitars. I've got to, you know what I mean? I've got to space my room out.
I don't even VR up here. I do it in the living room, but I've still got to make sure the cats are at the room, move the coffee table around.
Make sure the missus isn't going to spook you.
Yeah, that's happened.
Because they do that all the time, don't they? That's all they did when they had that on the Kurt kindly borrowed me for a few months. I just kept getting spooked. It's like, it's not funny anymore because I was playing The Room, which I really enjoyed, and the only game I found that I could sit down and play.
Yeah,
but
there are some really good aspects to VR, but yeah, I agree. There are a lot of people who like see it. I think it is more the early adopters, like the people who bought them day one and like had the Quest one, or had the old Oculus Rift and stuff like that, and
I just think it's a different
push
beast.
on that is the most incredible
it's
thing.
It's a different beast from like, I understand early adopters with PC hardware and stuff like that. PC is fundamentally the only thing you technically need. That's the number one thing.
I'm still waiting for PC2.
PC2 is going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. But yeah, I get why people are getting the latest graphics cards, the latest keyboards, the latest mouse, everything like that, cooling stuff. Yeah. That's understandable. That's how the industry exists because of PC. Do you know what I mean? PC is the master race. I have to admit it, even though I don't have PC, I've got laptop. But it is without that, we wouldn't have this. Do you know what I'm saying? I get that, but I think VR is they're so precious. And I'm not saying you are, because you're not. You've never chucked VR down my face. You just said, you'll probably like this one, or you won't like this one, which is absolutely how it should be. But a lot of people are just so pressed. Like, I remember once, because my son wanted the PSVR for Christmas, and I were in game other week, and I said, why is it so expensive? And the guy at game, and not all game people are like this, but he went, what do you mean, what's it so expensive? It's the future. It's like, fucking shut up, you prick.
I mean, even Sony released their PSVR, and you still had to get the Move controllers from previous.
About the fucking camera separately.
Yeah.
At first, they just released a box with a headset in that you couldn't do anything with unless you bought the camera separately and the Move controllers.
Yeah.
I just think it's one of those things. Like, we all probably, when we first, like as we've said before on a nostalgia episode, when we first got a touchscreen phone, like, this is never going to catch on. It's awful, but it catches on.
LG Beauty.
Yeah, LG Beauty.
That nearly killed touchscreen phones for everybody.
I know, I took it back, mate. But yeah, it's one of those things. I just think the fan base can be quite violent towards people that are trying to get a bit more information about it. They've got them specs on. They're like Morpheus Rose Tinted Glasses, actually. They haven't even got sides. They're just clipped onto the nose, and they're like, the Quest is the best thing ever. That kind of. It's like, why is it? Tell me why it is, and rather than we've got Half-Life Alex. That's not enough for, the general public.
Really just sounds like you're jealous you can't play Half-Life.
I want to play it. Don't get me wrong. I do want to play it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like, it's not the hardware that's bothering me. It's the fan base. They have got Rose Tinted Glasses for it, and I think it's a bit petty.
I'm glad this. What was that other subject that you had one of these? In fact, when you were trying to describe what gamers were, and you kind of went around the houses like this.
Oh God, yeah, because I'm terrible.
To work out what your actual point
I'm terrible
was.
at getting my point across. When I think Candy understood me at the beginning, she got where I'm coming from, because it's such an odd thing to bear witness to. Like, it's, in my opinion, it's worse than console wars. It's just, it's gross.
Even Sony are giving freebies away for PlayStation Plus for VR, but they're not.
No one's using
games.
them.
To be fair, if you think console wars are pathetic, you should see the wars between people who are like arguing between the HTC G2 and the LG G2 and the Quest 2. And
is it just awful? Do you just like watch it? Do you watch it for entertainment? You read it for entertainment, like I do on Pornhub.
It's one of those things that I'll wade into those arguments, and like I remember there was someone who complained, oh, you need good headphones to play the Quest, and I just popped in and says, oh, the speakers were fine on the Quest. They jumped down,
even though you're a sound engineer.
Yeah, like I didn't say they were good. I said they were fine.
Yeah.
It's directional audio from two tiny little speakers that points at your ears. It's like, I think it's cool for what it does.
They've constantly.
No, apparently it's not good enough. Apparently I need some fucking Bang & Olufsen's on my head to play on the Quest.
It's because they've constantly got the Rose Tinted Glasses glued to the brain. They're just stuck They're just stuck there. It's like they can't see past. I don't know what it is they can't see past, but they just can't see past it. And that's what bothers
This
me
is going to
more.
be a fucking bitch to edit so that you start making sense.
Don't just leave it. Leave this in, mate. Leave this in. I don't care.
You need the thought process.
I don't care.
Is there a thought process, Candy? Is there a thought process?
I had more
Yes,
notes,
just
but
at
the
different
boring.
stages to everyone else's.
I had more notes, but the boring to read. I just had facts and figures and health scares and stuff. But I'm not interested in that.
Health scares.
But there's health scares and everything in there. I was reading some other day that tomato ketchup gives you cancer.
VR will make you impotent.
Yeah.
Have you got all the stats for the amount of TVs that were smashed by people's controllers flying out of their hands, or like people playing Richie's Plank Experience and leaping
I have a
into their
stat
TV?
that Sony Bravia, if a TV is smashed by a Sony VR, do you know the ones? That's not in your warranty. Even though their own devices have done this. But yeah, they've just got permo Rose Tinted Glasses on these type of folk, these Reddit people. Merry Reddit to you all.
They were called Move controllers, not wands.
Yes. I don't know.
Shazam!
Wands. Oh God.
Do you know what? I live underneath a
VR headset.
like an airport. No, like I'd live near Bristol Airport basically, and I was constantly like just paranoid that with the ones that I was going to land a plane in my front room or something.
Is that because you wandered outside into the garden? This VR's so immersive. I've wandered outside.
What's that? The sound of the PlayStation dragging behind me. Divot in the ground.
Oh God! It's probably one of those things though. With that technology, is the most expensive one is probably the best. It's that simple, isn't it?
Probably land a PS5, couldn't you?
But yeah, that's. I want to know if our listeners have a more coherent discussion. So
I don't know because. Well, I'm saving that to last, but Super Natty Cat has written in, so I don't think coherency is what we're going to get today.
Good. It's not just me that's absolutely mental.
Yeah. We'll start with Angry Kurt, best boy.
He is.
He's coming saying, some old football games on the PS1 and PS2 I thought were brilliant at the time, but they were awful when I look back now. There was one called FA Premier League Stars I tried playing again about 3 years ago, and I wanted to be sick. But there are 2 things I believe other people look back on with Rose Tinted Glasses. The first is Link's Awakening.
What?
I played the remake out of this, and whilst I could understand how people could put up with it back then, I don't know how they could give it a pass now. Some of the puzzles are really obtuse, and there's very little guidance as to where you're supposed to go. I had to use a guide loads, which ruined the experience for me. I think most people who like the remake maybe played the original and were kids, so would put up with the lack of guidance, as it would just extend the life of the game, then with the remake could remember where to go. But for a new player like myself, I thought it was a very poor game. And my second choice is, you know what?
Don't do it, Kurt. Don't do it.
Rocky.
The
Jokes aside, I would love any of you... No, the film.
The biscuit.
All jokes aside, I would love any of you to go back and watch it now and give me an honest
I watched
appraisal
it
of what you
last
thought. I have many problems with the film, but specifically for this question, it would be that last fight scene, which I think could have been done better back then.
Right, I've got two things with this. Right,
Okay, I'm going to sit back here.
right. Rocky is an Oscar-winning film, multiple Oscar-winning film. It's an incredible film. Yes, the choreography is not up to par than what we get nowadays. It's a 70s film, for fuck's sake. And it's not a sports film. It's a story about a guy coming from rags to riches. It's a fucking masterpiece. And I watched the whole fucking every Rocky, even Creed's last month. I watched them all, and they're incredible. Maybe not Rocky 5, but they're incredible. I think.
Have you heard about the Rocky 4 cut that's supposed to be out?
I can't wait for that.
I'm really interested to see that. They cut the robot out, but they've reinserted
Paulie's
stuff
wife.
that was cut. The stuff.
Sorry, I haven't seen any of the Rocky films.
Oh yeah, Paulie, his brother-in-law, has a robot wife on Rocky 4.
Yeah.
I love you, Paulie.
What?
Oh yeah, that happened.
It's true.
Because
It's
Rocky's
true.
got more money, so he buys him a wife, a robot wife.
You're fucking shitting me.
Not even
We're not.
Oh, I remember.
We're absolutely
Rocky IV
not.
Brings him his whiskey and stuff. Here you go, Paulie.
Rocky 4.
Well, now you've got a bit sort of.
What in the ever-loving
Rocky
fuck
4 is
is that?
incredible as well. It's one of the better ones.
The robot is named Seiko. The robot was made by International Robotics Inc. in New York by CEO and creator Robert Durnick, who is also the voice.
Yeah, I love you,
The
Paulie.
robot was written into the film to help treat Stallone's son, Shago, however you pronounce that name, for autism. The robot scenes will be removed from the upcoming director's cut of Rocky 4.
Bring back the robot cut.
But I'm looking at this is... I'm absolutely fucking aghast at this.
So, Rocky in review coming very soon on Modern Escapism for all patrons.
Yeah.
Oh, Rocky's
I'll
so
watch
good.
them with you, Gadget.
What the fuck was Sylvester Stallone licking off the bathroom floor to think of that?
Lots and lots of coke. What was Kurt's first point as well? I forgot now after all that robot chat.
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening,
Awakening.
that was it. I played it for the first time this year, the remake, and I found it was incredible. And I'm going to say it, guys, strap in. It's the Dark Souls of Zelda. It's the one that doesn't point you where to go. There's no arrow. You have to talk, you have to investigate, and I loved every fucking second of it, and I'd never played the original. So, you're wrong again. Rocky and Link's Awakening are both bangers.
Yeah, Best Boys.
In fact,
Yeah.
we're going to get Biggie and Kurt to have a boxing match
Oh, yes.
Nice.
to see who wins.
With 70s choreography.
Yeah. And Rocky 2. Remember Rocky 2, Biggie House? Oh, Rocky 2's so good. Oh, Rocky 3.
They're all
Oh,
good, apart from
5.
5.
But 5's still worth watching.
Absolutely astonished by this robot. This is just really fucking blowing my mind here.
There's other things. He gets a tiger on one of them. There's other stuff on Rocky. He runs up and down Russian mountains lifting logs. He beats someone. I mean, spoiler alert. He beats someone that's on steroids. He's that strong.
He fights Hulk Hogan.
Fights Hulk Hogan.
And Mr.
And
T.
Mr.
the
T,
same
yeah.
movie.
Rocky's incredible. Rocky's great.
Jesus Christ. Right, okay, let's carry on before I lose my mind. So the other half of the Never Watchers is written in as well, Pete Beckett. He said the film Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I loved it during hazy nights with lots of drinking and illicit substances. Decided to watch it this year again for the first time in 5 years while sober, and it doesn't have quite the same effect, despite remembering the whole script.
That's not Rose Tinted Glasses, that's beer goggles.
Pete, have you ever tried mescaline? Because if you haven't,
No one should try
watch it and try mescaline. It gives it a different.
Stop telling our listeners to do drugs.
It's a natural drug. It gives it.
I don't care.
It gives it a different edge to it. No, but he's right. The film's terrible. The book.
Failing that, try ketamine.
Yeah, no. The book, on the other hand, is a great book.
Yeah, the book's
Hunter
a
S.
great
Thompson's a great gonzo journalist, but the film, yeah, it's just it's crap.
Ray has written in with, Hi, Modern Escapism. I was a little shocked upon learning the reviews of Home Alone 2 because it's my favourite Home Alone. I watched the movie on TV when I was little, and it was my first Home Alone instead of the first film. A child is so easy to please, the movie doesn't even have to be well written, well acted, or carrying any profound message. It just has to make me laugh at the right moment. In fact, I was probably too young to notice how it repeated its predecessor, even if I saw the first film. As such, Home Alone 2 used to bring me lots of joy, but it's so much like an ugly childhood toy I still find lovable through a pair of rosy glasses.
I'm with him.
Recently,
I think 2 is better than 1. However, the plot is odd that the same thing happens again. What about child services and stuff like that? You know what I mean? It's like, that's neglect.
And also, you've got the lady in the park is a complete copy of the guy with a spade in the first movie.
Yeah.
It's like,
Just remade the film and just transplanted it somewhere else.
It's definitely a remake of the original, but I think it's got better set pieces.
Yeah.
Has anyone watched this new version on Disney Plus, which is apparently a shot-for-shot remake of the original?
Yeah, but with English kids.
And Karen Gillan.
Yeah. I watch anything with Karen Gillan in.
Well, we look forward to your review then. Okay. Right. Can't delay it anymore. Oodles, sit down for this one.
Oh boy.
I'm strapped in.
Super Natty Cat.
Oh, she's back.
Rose Tinted Glasses. Very, very controversial, so cover thine ears. I cannot stand the MCU.
Fuck off.
Not all of it before I get absolutely slated by Oodles or Stig. You guys always play hating on me just because I speak the truth. And don't even get me started on Gex. I'm getting attitude neck here, like reading out her writing. I watched all the Iron Mans, all the Spider-Mans, and I adored them. Thor, Captain America. They suck dick so hard because they've got the MCU stamp on them. They get a free pass for being shit. WandaVision, shit, confusing, boring.
Whoa.
Black Widow, boring as fuck.
Wow.
I have to act for Super Natty Cat. The way she writes her emails is ridiculous. Haven't even seen the Endgame. Don't want to. Problem is now, because I've not watched all of them, the new Spider-Mans with Tom Holland I can't appreciate when I know I think I would like them more. But everyone who loves them talks about... Everyone who loves them... Hang on.
She can't even type.
Loves them or maybe I can't read. But everyone who loves them who talks about bits of the MCU are not being as good as others still say the rubbish films are good. They are not. Just because they got a cameo from someone better does not excuse them from being absolute whack. Regurgitated bollocks. Sorry, guys, I can talk about tampons again if it makes you feel any better.
No. So, many things. I have gone on record to say there are at least 5 MCU films that I would call trash. Absolute shite.
I take that's Thor 2 5 times.
Yeah, mainly. How can you watch WandaVision not watching Endgame first? That's very odd. To me, that's like watching The Godfather 3 first. It's just odd. You're an odd person, Natty Cat. Also, you like Too Fast, Too Furious. You also admitted that Adam Sandler is one of your favourite actors. You like Jar Jar Binks. And your top 10 film is Liar Liar and Pretty Woman. And you're just you're a terrible, terrible person. And
you fucking brought receipts here.
Your opinions are absolutely null and void. Like, anyone that thinks Adam Sandler is top tier should be thrown off a boat before it even hit the ice.
I mean, I'm not saying top tier, but it's fairly high up in my opinion.
Fucking Adam Sandler. Let's park here for a second.
He has kind eyes.
He has kind eyes. Yeah, but so did fucking Bundy. You know what I mean? It's like that doesn't work.
He didn't write rom-coms though.
No, he didn't.
Feel better when you're ill.
He made his own.
Sandler to Ted Bundy.
Yeah, I did. Adam Sandler's a fucking prick.
But he wasn't a serial killer.
I'll fight him. I'll fight Adam Sandler.
His films may have killed a few people.
After Biggie fights Kurt, I'll fight him. I'll be second on the card. I'll absolutely fight Adam Sandler. He won't do it though because he's just an idiot. I don't like him. And you
shock horror.
His films are crap. And yeah, Super Natty Cats has got a fucking MCU. Come on. I ain't got words. Like, it's modern day mythology. It's incredible stuff. It's just, but there is shit in it. But when you've got that many films and TV shows, there is shit. There's just going to be shit in there. That's just maths. But wow, yeah, get out.
That was a hard one to take, I have to say.
Yeah, do we still want... Yeah, I suppose we should get some more feedback from Super Natty Cat. Can't wait for next week.
It's like, you don't have to like all the MCU, do you know what I mean? Watch.
I mean, she likes some of the MCU.
Thor
She likes the,
Ragnarok.
Spider-Man
How can
films.
you not like Thor Ragnarok? It's one of the best films ever made.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just pure. It's just a pure film, and she's like, "Oh God, little Nicky. Oh, use little Nicky as a tampon. Oh, fucking shite, mate. Shite. Fuck off, Adam Sandler. Oh, Happy Gilmore. It's all in the hips. Grow up. Crap.
Oh, what the fuck am I going to do for this week's social clips?
Fucking does my head in, this Adam Sandler love. I prefer gamers over them. Fucking Adam Sandler.
Oh, well, moving swiftly on.
Get him on the
That's
show
all
and I'll
that's in the
fucking say it to his
mailbag.
face.
That's all that's in
The thing is, he'd probably agree with me.
Fuck. Oodles, move on.
No, he'd agree with me. He'd say he's shit as well. Prick.
I mean, to be fair, he did win an acting award, and he went up on stage. I think it was like a Screen Actors Guild award, and he went up on stage and said to the other nominees, "You will forever be the people that lost an acting award to Adam
Because he
Sandler."
knows. He knows. His whole career is just going on holiday.
I think it was it for Uncut Gems? Was it?
Which is his best film, and I don't think he wrote it.
No, he didn't write it. He just starred in it.
Exactly.
I didn't like that one.
Drunk Punch Love. He also didn't write that one, and he's good in that.
Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, he's good in that. But everything else is wank. Fuck you, Adam Sandler. Fuck you.
Not having it.
Now I want to
Before
see
we have a civil war, move on.
Civil War. It's a good film.
Oodles in a boxing ring now.
I'll fucking do it.
Come on then.
I don't know. Candy Fight's dirty.
Yeah,
She throws cats at you and everything.
exactly. You better watch out.
Bring it.
She'll finish the bottle of wine, then smash it.
So it's
over
going to
the
be
table.
in the red corner on Team Adam Sandler. It's Candy Machine. In the blue
Candy
corner,
Machine.
Team MCU. It's Oodles O'Dim. God,
What was that
Honestly, I'm
celeb-
drunk all the time. I have no inhibitions.
you're drunk all the time.
You better watch
I'm
out.
fucking off my
This
head
is going
all
to be
the
a
time.
battle. This is going to be a battle of the ages.
What was
Not
that
the hair,
show?
not the
That
hair.
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yeah, that was it.
Let's get it on.
Do it. Kurt, Biggie, me, and Candy. Whose guys it going to fight?
I'm not fighting anyone. I'm a pacifist.
I'm
He's
a
a
lover,
lover,
not a
not a
hater.
fighter.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, right. Let's
Gucci Gang Potato.
I'd just present her with a cat and she'd be fine.
Yeah, let's move on to the socials and what we're doing next week. 'Cause I reckon it's going to be a good one.
Oh, it certainly is. Before that, though, you can visit our website, modernescapism.co.uk. On there, you can find a link to all of our socials, all of our contact details, our merch store, so you can get a little Biggie sticker head and
A little biggie.
get a little Biggie for your phone.
Can we get a Biggie bobblehead made?
Oh,
Mate,
I
I
think
think
one of them would be
I think I want one of those as well. So even if it's just for us.
Like a lucky one, so you rub his head before the show every time.
Oh my God! Let's do one where there's one out of the 50 that we make's gold, and that's the super rare one, and it just
the
goes
chase
out.
version.
Yeah, it just goes out randomly. Oh,
If you've got any comments or feedback, you can fill out a form on our website, tweet us or email us on modernescapismpod@gmail.com. We also have a Discord server if you'd like to join our community of listeners for a chat about the podcast, many other aspects of pop culture and escapism. If you enjoy Twitch and want to keep us company whilst playing some games, you can find us on twitch.tv/modernescapism. We've been taking a little bit of a break the last couple of weeks, but we'll be back at it in the new year. We've already told you about our Patreon, so if you're feeling generous and want to give us a bit of extra support so we can continue to bring you new content, please consider subscribing on patreon.com/modernescapism.
you getting attacked?
It's a cat.
Who brought the drummer in?
Please refrain from doing that.
I thought it might have been Adam Sandler coming talking about me.
Shit.
He's stuck in a cupboard. He can't get out. Let me out.
Help me.
Shut up, Adam.
Right. Fuck off, Panda.
Fuck off, Panda.
There we go. Right. I'll start that bit again. We've already told you about our Patreon, so if you're feeling generous and want to give us a bit of extra support so we can continue to bring you new content, please consider subscribing on patreon.com/modernescapism. And we really appreciate any contributions. And if you want to support us in a non-financial way, leaving us a 5-star review wherever you can makes a huge difference too. Now, next week, this is the exciting part. We have a live show at 8 o'clock.
God.
Friday, 8 o'clock GMT on Twitch.
Oh,
We'll be having our end of year wrap up. We'll be talking about our favourite things in the whole year, some awful Christmas media, and we may even have a secret Santa to unwrap. And this will be fully interactable on Twitch, so you'll be able to talk to us in real time whilst we're recording the show, and we'll try and answer you as we record like we did last time. And you can find us again on twitch.tv/modernescapism, 8 o'clock Friday.
Yeah, don't.
The 17th. Make sure you point out it's Friday the 17th.
So, as of if you listen to this day one, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've mastered time.
For anyone who can't make that live stream, it'll obviously be out on the normal podcast feed the week after as normal. And patrons, there will still be a Patreon section on the audio version. And when that drops, I'll put a timestamp in to say, skip ahead to 2 hours.
Or listen again.
Or listen again if you want to.
Well, and will all of us make it through to the end of the show?
Yeah, last year we didn't.
Are we going to get Stig 2.0?
I like it. I like that he just drinks so much whiskey that or whatever he drinks and just disappears. I like it.
Well, I mean, he did that in person. He drank a whole bottle of gin.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's chaotic. It's just chaotic in general.
It's a sudden drop off though with him, isn't it? It's fine, gone.
He doesn't do what I do. I like steadily plateau, and then I look and I've had 10 cans, and
you've lost a shoe in the street.
Yeah, and then I've got to remember I've got to walk home. That's what gets me. It's not the. I'm fine if I drop dead at home. I'm fine. But yeah.
See, I just get slightly more chatty, and then I get to a point where I think to myself, I'm going to say something weird, so I better just not say anything at all.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be fun, but don't bring on that Adam Sandler nonsense to the chat.
Nothing at all.
But it was fun last year. It's going to be fun this year.
And it's live this year.
Oh yeah, we just recorded it last year and sent it out, didn't we? This is live, so yeah, don't say fuck or bugger.
Actually, we'll say fuck and bugger quite a lot, to be fair.
Yeah, it's gonna be sensational. If I do say so myself. It's not gonna be a typical episode like we do. We're not doing the Nexus like we normally. We're just chatting about his favourite thing of it. It's not a competition or anything like that. It's personal favourites, and then
we're also putting effort into this one as well. Like we have prepared things.
Oh yeah, it's prepared. I've already written a script. I read it, but kind of a script, barely a script. You know what I mean? But
about as much of a script as you normally do.
Yeah, which is none. Or I do write a big script about VR and don't read it.
The Oodle standard.
That kind of thing. All the effort, none of the payoff. But yes, I think that is all we're going to get out of the scrubs that don't pay us this week. Thanks for being that kind of scrub. But please, if you don't pay us, just review us at least. If you don't like us, give us a 5-star review and tell us why you don't like us. We will definitely read that. But if you give us
out on the podcast as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. But if you give us a 1-star review and tell us you don't like them, we'll just completely ignore its existence. But yeah, that's the show. Sorry, I got aggressive towards. If you are new to this, I don't usually shout at our listeners and feedback writers in. It's just when certain bad opinions. Yeah, Yanko, when bad opinions get thrown at me, I've got to jump on them, as people do with me. But yes, good night. We'll meet everyone else round the back.
I wish I had verbal diarrhea, though. I get verbal constipation, unfortunately.
I love Twiglets. Yummy, yummy, yum, yum, yum. Christmas treat for me to eat. Twiglets, Twiglets, Twiglets.